Hello everyone, welcome to Swimmer Sync 48. 48 Swimmer Syncs. Oh my gosh. Okay. We're gonna see some Splatoon weekly action. Always love a good weekly. My name is JPEG, joined by Cannon 2K, the Rage Bunny. How you doing, Cannon?
Yo, what's good, JPEG? I'm chilling, you know what I'm saying? I'm already halfway through this week, as I got Friday off here chilling, happy to be commentating with you. Just spitting some bars for for you and Toasty just a couple minutes ago, you know what I'm saying? Got that New York flow, trying to be the next up and coming rapper, no, I'm playing. But we're here to see some weekly Splatoon action like JPEG was saying, everybody queuing up with their team, seeing what they can do, see if we can see some cool stuff.
Now, honestly, I was hearing what you were saying. Like, I'm fully expecting you to just start dropping some freestyles during like sets, and I'm perfectly okay with that. I mean, that's exactly what this community needs right now.
Exactly what the community needs is some bars being dropped, bro. Like I don't know about no diss tracks dropping either, but I know what people were, and I kind of have a little bit of idea of what they would be talking about. But if I get the chance to freestyle, maybe I'll do it during launch day if Beta is okay with that. But even though Popgun might say no, that's okay because Beta is the head honcho, and I'll listen to him.
Well, I work with Popgun, and I say my one piece of advice is just don't listen to him. Anyways, we got our first match coming up soon. We got Inkling Default versus Red Sun coming up. I hope shortly. They should be joining the room soon. I'm not sure.
Yeah, speaking of Red Sun, I recognize a lot of their names. We got Beam, Vertigo, Admir, Gudako, and Tina. I know Tina's a good brush player. Also, let's see, I believe it was Vertigo that I've known for a long time. I think Vertigo was maybe on the Nautilus. I know Beam's a shot player, really good stuff coming out from Beam. So they got a pretty solid team going on against Inkling Default, which okay, we see a couple recognizable names of Parias and Admiral here. So, and I know Admiral's Charger main and all that stuff. So we can see what type of good match we got up in here.
Yeah, I do recognize Price and Avril. Longtime members of the community. Good to see him sticking around. And Red Sun, I am very familiar with Red Sun. Former Low-Ink team. They won Low-Ink off the tie, and they are invited to High Ink, which is early in December. So I'm excited to see how they're doing right now because I haven't seen them since we banned them from Low-Ink. So it'll be cool to see how they're doing right now in this upcoming first set.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait to watch High Ink 2 as well. Unfortunately, I can't play in High Ink even though I was on Luau. Rest in peace, no, I'm playing. Luau's just on a hiatus right now. But High Ink definitely inviting all the teams that have won Low Ink in the past. I know the first High Ink was absolutely insane. We had some crazy sets going on here. As we see the first three matches being played, we got Splat Zones, Ancho, Tower Control, Manta, Maria, and Clam Blitz on the Pit, everybody's favorite linear map with the one-way pass back in the mid. So what do you think's going to be going on here? Since we know quite a bit of the players on each team, which team do you think may have the advantage over the other on these maps? Starting off with Splat Zones and Antro.
I'll always give my bias towards like the established team. I always think a team will always have better coordination over the pickups, but this pickup has some pretty good members. Someone did say Fearon's from Geek Squid. Geek Squid's a pretty good team. Been around for a while, and then we have Avril, Price, and the I'm not sure who the other two are, but I'm sure they're gonna hold their weight too. So I'm excited to see how Inkling Default perform in this first set as we get into Splat Zone's Anchovy games.
Yep, Splat Zone's Ancho. We see a splash. We see a tent umbrella. That might have been the Sorella tent that I saw. If my eyes are not deceiving me, it is the Sorella tent umbrella with the coming out from Vertigo with the curling bomb rush. We'll see how well that plays out on Splat Zones, but I know the curling bomb rush can be extremely good for capping the zone as well as with the 10 shield. It can kind of just be like a forced cap as oh wow, one goes down already. We see Gudako getting down from a nice snipe by Avril, but like I was mentioning earlier, we see on the side of Inkling Default, they don't have a Booyah Bomb in order to contest that curling bomb rush if it comes out.
That's right, and I just want to make a quick comment about the comp CC. Inkling Default doing something pretty standard with the K-Shot, the Nautilus, and the Zap with the armor, but I do like Red Sun's current comp. You don't see very many Squiffers. You see a Squiffer here and there, and I always get a little excited to see that weapon because it's fun to watch. But Red Sun here, capping that zone, finally getting their footwork in on this first minute within the game. Inkling Default, 2 specials ready, so I fully expect them to kind of recapture the map control and flip the zone back pretty soon.
Yeah, you know, one thing I always like seeing, like you mentioned, I always love seeing some Squiffer gameplay. Squiffer is definitely one of the most fun weapons in the game to play, at least in my opinion. Also, as well as it comes to charge, with that unique ability to fully charge in the air is definitely something that makes the Squiffer stand out. And in my opinion, I think maybe the Squiffer is a little bit underutilized, even though we have players like Leotos playing Squiffer at an extremely high level. It's always great to see some Squiffer gameplay, as we see Ink Default trying to contest the zone and get back in there is going to force Vertigo to jump out as Ink Default gets set up back in neutral. We see Avril trying to watch his right flank here, see if she can spot anybody. But looks like the rest of Red Sun's kind of like back in their base, probably just farming specials, which is good. They're being nice and patient, which is great. Nobody's feeding or anything, despite the Tenderbrella having probably a lot of quick respawn on. But good on them for like all 4 of their specials ready to go, as unfortunately Admir's Inkjet goes down, but Gudako managed to get somebody else with the Swiffer.
Yeah, as soon as Ink Default started to capture that zone, a lot of members of Red Sun knew it was just time to back up, and a lot of them jumped back or just moved back, and that allowed them to have this all 4 of their specials ready, which are putting them in the position they are in now. But Ink Default doing a great job keeping up that defense. I'll take that back. 2 picks going down on the side of Red Sun. And Ink Default looking pretty good, 35 points. We're just about halfway through the match. If they can keep up this position, maybe push up just a little more, they could cap that lead and maybe get a quick KO. I mean, the score's looking to be about that KO range.
Yeah, also one thing I noticed on the side of Red Sun that may be a little bit of a detriment is that they don't have any Tenta missiles in order to push back in. They kind of just have the Bomb Rush and the Tenderbrella, as Vertigo gets a clean pick on the Zap hang out in the corner. However, they are 2 down. But they do manage to neutralize the zone to put a little bit of a penalty on Ink and Default. But that's good, trying to like stall them and everything. The Bomb Rush coming out, getting rid of Vertigo's shield. The Vertigo looks a little bit weak, gets stuck on the fan, but thankfully manages to get out. As Admir's trying to contest zone, unfortunately goes down. I saw there was one person like maybe on the right side, and it is indeed the Squiffer. And Firion here wisely keeping his distance, making sure not getting range to the Squiffer, as well as taking the Squiffer down, getting another one with the Inkjet. As the Tenderbrella is forced to kind of just stay back up there on their platform and going for a desperate Curling Bomb Rush to try to get the zone. Does get one, but Firion's able to clean that up, and looks like this game 1's going to go to Ink and Default.
That was such clean gameplay from Ink Default. They seemed to really pull themselves together, and Red Sun kind of lost their balance there. I noticed a lot of them weren't really sticking together as well as they were at the beginning of the game. So really good on Ink Default to kind of pull it together. But both teams were playing very well throughout that first game. Very promising set here. I think it's going to be a close one.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I feels like Ink Default maybe had like a little bit of an easier time. They didn't have like any Tenta missiles to make them like spread out and like get separated from each other as a group. It might have been what caused them to get more confident with that win. But as we move over here for Tower Control Manta Maria, as we saw the Squiffer player on Red Sun, might have been Gudako, pardon me if I'm wrong, but we'll see if Gudako maybe goes a Charger to contest Avril, as Chargers are actually quite good. Manta Maria. Now, I know we don't see much Splatlings, which is kind of unfortunate to me, because I love playing Splatlings, man. Like, Splatlings are fun. Really, the only Splatling we see is kind of like Nautilus, but I mean, you know, Nautilus is still fun too, don't get me wrong. But I think Heavies, maybe Hydra can be okay, maybe in mid, because they can just hide behind that giant mast in mid, sticking out like the Statue of Liberty in New York City. You know what I'm saying? So maybe someone wants to pull that out, but I mean, we'll see what the comps are. See if anybody makes any changes going into this second match.
Yeah, like what you were saying, a lot of people these days don't like to play backline, but when you got someone like Avril on the other team who's just absolutely dominating with that range advantage, it can be. It can definitely be a valid option to switch to it. And like you said, I would like to personally see Splatling. I think they've been on the decline recently. I think backliners in general have just been on the decline, so it'll be cool to see some more of those in play.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I kind of think that like playing backline is kind of like a double-edged sword. Because especially if you're playing like Charger with all this shooter meta, because you know like shooters are like super mobile and move fast like a Roadrunner out for the Looney Tunes and stuff like that. But however, if you can hit your shots, that's great, because even if a Charger like doesn't hit shots, it still provides that type of that type of pressure, you know, where like people have to play carefully around the Charger just so they won't get like randomly picked off and there's an automatic like 3v4. As we go on here, we see the 52 coming out from Beam, as well as Tina coming in with the foil flanger roller. Excellent choice on tower control. As we see on the other side of Ink and Default, we see the custom jet from Avril. That's an interesting pick, but maybe it might be a better one coming on to tower control just to spam Stingray.
Yeah, that turf control, the burst bombs, and the Stingray, all great for this map mode combo. You know, we're already seeing the Ray. What was that, 19 seconds? There it is. But Red Sun had the armor on deck. Only one of them going to go down to, two of them. Take that back. 2 down on both sides. Very, very even start of this game. But looks like Ink and Default might just barely edge it out. Going to slowly approach that first checkpoint. And Amir and Tina doing a good job at the disadvantaged state. Still defending as the rest of Red Sun come in.
Yeah, and as we saw a couple seconds ago, that was a classic example of 52 RNG coming back to bite you in the butt, man. If Beam just got that 52 RNG, then they definitely would have gotten that kill. As Red Sun coming back in, as as Ink and Default only gets to 87, not the big of a push. Avril's still controlling this zone over here on the left side of the map. With Avril being not too close to Stingray, but we do have Tenta missiles on deck from the K-Shot on the side of Ink and Default. As the teams are just like feeling each other out back in mid again, trying to see who goes down first. As armor gets popped on the side of Ink and Default, and armor gets popped on both sides actually. As a missile coming out from Tina too. As that one down on each side, so still kind of a neutral state, but Avril's kind of forced to move as she's getting shot at from the mast. You see Beam coming over at the 52 trying to get one to see if he can get the Nautilus with some sick movement, you know what I'm saying. Nautilus goes down too, as it's a 3-down situation with Red Sun trying to get this push going.
And Red Sun finally start getting that get that map control. It seems like they really want a lot of map control before they even think about touching that tower. They don't really have any weapon that's great with riding the tower. Maybe that Nautilus, but it looks like I think that the 52's riding it. Yeah, not really a good comp to be riding that tower, but they got a lot of aggression, so I think they're going to want to use that to their advantage. No clear lead here, even though Red Sun's still in the lead. Nothing's really too set in stone. No one's even passed that first checkpoint yet. As Ink and Default finally starting to get that turf control. Avril's popping that Ray and an armor coming out. Those are recipes to getting a good push about halfway through this match. Seeing Inkjet from Fearon. And hopefully, finally, 3 down. That checkpoint's unlocked. We got this. There it is. This could be a what's the word? This could spiral out of control for Red Sun if they don't stop this real soon. Finally getting past that second checkpoint.
So Discord's going a little bit haywire for me.
No worries, I got this. And Fearon going to finally pop another jet. Doing a really good job getting that jet while maintaining pressure. That's impressive. And 5 points remaining. Can they keep it going? I'm not sure. Looks like Red Sun finally stopped that push. They're going to want to start taking this a little more seriously if they want to beat that. And Red Sun wanting to charge their specials, getting that map control. Unlike that last push, they got to get someone on that tower. Oh, that Ray's going to stop that, though. But again, they have to have someone riding that tower, and again, their comp's just not as good as that. But it's getting a little hard to follow. Sorry. Yeah, Ink and Default just doing a good job defending. I mean, their comp helps with that. They got the missiles, they got the raid, they got the Nautilus and the backline. So Red Sun's just having trouble getting past that first checkpoint, and Ink and Default's just doing a great job with that defense.
Yeah,
I will say it's a lot harder. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yep. So we're good. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. My internet cut out for a second, but as I come back from the dead to see Ink and Default push all the way to 5, man. What happened while I was gone?
Oh, I mean, Red Sun just could not stop it. They were doing such a good job. They had the momentum going.
That's crazy.
But, speaking of momentum, no, let's talk about this. They're pushed up. I mean, Red Sun, they just gotta sit on that tower. That's all they need to do right now. Their teammates, Tina's teammates here, doing such a good job keeping up that pressure. They know exactly what they're doing. You can tell this is an established team. Everyone's just in their spot. They know exactly where they need to be.
For sure, yeah, but unfortunately it's just Admir here trying to hold his position on the Nautilus with just 5 seconds left. As looks like Inkling Default's trying to just bum rush the towers. They have armor active too. They're really just gonna rush the tower with spamming it with suction bombs as well, and that's going to end up being the game.
Yeah, Red Sun had so much potential there, but started to lose traction as soon as Inkling Default pushed it down to 5. And once it was pushed down to 5, I think Inkling Default just had the better comp for defending. And I will always say this, defending's just a lot easier on this game. And the missiles and the ray just help so much with that. So I think that was kind of locked in once they hit 5.
Oh yeah, absolutely, for sure. As soon as you get a lead on a map like Manta Maria, where it's like incredibly hard to push past that second checkpoint because it's such a tight spaced area where it's like very easy to get picked off the tower at that point, as well as with a Stingray on deck too. Like, armor can only save you for so long.
Yeah. And with that, I gotta say, good to see these two teams playing. Excited to see Red Sun and High Ink next month. Lots of potential on their part. I think they could be a strong contender for that tournament.
Yeah, it's play all 3, correct?
Is it play all 3?
I believe so. I believe it is play all 3.
It is. That's right.
Yes, I was just like I was like, I think it's play all 3.
Hold on. Well, I'll say it again. Red Sun has a lot of potential. Maybe they can take this third game.
Yeah, so third game, Pit Clan Blitz, see if Red Sun can at least get 1 point there on the board here. But with Pit being such a linear map, this is also, again, where Tenta missiles are going to be coming in super handy because sometimes teams can tend to gather around the Clams basket, and Tenta missiles would force them to either move or jump out or just risk dying right under the basket, and the massive push can be taking place, as well as maybe even knockout.
Of course. And unlike Splatoons and Tower Control, well, like Tower Control, Clampets can definitely spiral out of control. So I think Red Sun's going to want to figure out what happened last game and apply some changes here. And I think Clan Blitz Brana, there's been a lot of controversy about this map mode lately. So,
oh yeah, how so?
Oh, I've just seen people complain about it. Yeah. Thing is, not a lot of Clan Blitz maps to choose from, so you gotta take what you can get.
Would they rather play on Makomar, man? It's just the back and forth on that one.
I don't know about that. I personally love this map, especially as a spectator.
Too. Now, as expected, we see a Tent coming back out from Vertigo, as I remember Vertigo bring up the Tenter in the zones match. The Tent umbrella, especially with the bubble tent this time, can be a huge wall just to get through. However, we do see Avril back on the CJ, as well as we see a Kimmy? We see a Kimmy. We got the Hammer Mini coming out. That's an interesting choice.
No, I quite like that. You know, I think if you can think outside the box, that's one way to beat the meta. I mean, who knows how to fight a Mini?
Yeah. That and Hammer is also a huge counter to the Tent umbrella. Tent just cannot deal with Hammer. It'll just destroy the shield in one blast, as well as those bubbles too. Hammer just does not care. Well, provided the hitbox is its thing. As we see Red Sun immediately getting that first push in with a bunch of clams coming through as they pass that first choke point of 60 on the clams basket. But they still have 11 more clams, see if they can get more in, as Inkling Default trying to push back into mid. However, like I mentioned before, pushing back into mid is like there's only so many places you can go, and if you go around from your spawn, you might be wasting a little too much time. As the clam score keeps ticking down for the side of Red Sun, getting it all the way down to 20, 17 points. And it looks like Inkling Default is finally starting to get them out of there, as it's just the Nautilus left, and Nautilus might just jump out. Yep, there he goes. So 17, fantastic push on Pig Clams. As we'll see now what Inkling Default does to counter push.
Yeah, I'm absolutely loving the aggression from Red Sun. This is a complete turnaround from what we saw last game, and you know, I think that has to do with, like, in this mode you don't have to riot a tower and sit down on it. You can just have the entire team playing the objective at once, and with that aggressive playstyle Red Sun seems to have, it's rewarding them.
That was a crazy inkjet shot.
For real. Nice. Vertigo here on the flank, helping out teammates, collecting clams again. They're doing such a good job keeping Inkling Default's backs against their wall. Even though they have that power clam, they don't have the map control. So I mean, Red Sun could just play like this for the rest of the game, or they could just get another power claim and knock it out. Both are fine options. They're doing a great job right now.
Yeah, definitely looks like Clams is playing more towards their Red Sun strength, especially since they're doing a great job playing off that 10 umbrella. As we see Admir over here getting a nice pick on a Kimmy hanging out on the left side of the map, and Avril's still not that close to Stingray. I think she just used it, but that Stingray is going to be very crucial for them to push in. What might possibly happen for them to push in is they can combo Stingray with that Booyah Bomb that the K-Pro has, forcing every member of Red Sun to move back, but they just can't get back in the mid. They just have too much ink going on. Admir's Jesus. Admir's just going off with that inkjet, man.
This inkjet's just doing such a good job. Admir just knows exactly when to use it. And Avril just gonna pop an inkjet. Get rid of that Junior. Junior wasn't close to armor, so I don't know if that's gonna do too much for them, but Ink and Default just having such a tough time getting that map control up. And it seems like Red Sun's kind of opting for that playstyle I was talking about earlier, where they can just sit and just keep the map control in check. Nope, they're right in the rail. I take it back. My goodness. Red Sun's just doing such a good job. Looks like they're about to KO. There it is. Red Sun getting that final point to help them with the final group scoring.
Yeah, as soon as one thing I noticed, as soon as Admir had paint, there was just no stopping Admir, man. Admir just kept like tearing him apart with the Nautilus. As soon as the Nautilus has paint, especially because there wasn't too much killing power on the side of Ink and Default too, and Nautilus kind of just ran over him like it was a field day up at the park or something like that. However, Ink and Default still 2-1, still taking the win over the set. Fantastic gameplay to both teams, and definitely looking forward to seeing Red Sun and High Ink too.
Of course. And with that, I'm not sure if our next set's ready yet or not. I'm awaiting a response for that.
Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see. I'll be honest, I don't staff. I mean, I know I'm the IPL guy. I don't staff Swimmer Sync though. I don't know. I don't know enough about Swimmer Sync.
Grace, get over here.
Yeah, where's Grace?
Where is Grace? Where's she at?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw some hands at Grace. Everyone throw hands at Grace.
Just throw a full. Just throw a full ham at Grace. It's Thanksgiving. Just throw a full ham.
Oh, next match is it ready? We're getting Campfire versus Sirius. Oh my gosh, I love this. No, let me tell you, Sirius is also invited to Link.
Really?
Not Link. No. They're out of Link. They are banned. No, they're invited to High Ink too.
I was gonna say, man.
No. And Campfire, love this team. I love Campfire. I mean, that's it. I just like them.
I mean, who doesn't love a Campfire, man? Grab some marshmallows and s'mores and all I'm saying. But I think this Campfire means business, as they got a pretty stacked roster as I'm looking at. I recognize like everybody on this roster. We got Kelp, we got Nico Chico. I know Nico loves that blob blobber. I always love seeing Nico's blob in action. We got Storm. I think that's Storm, the T-Tech player. We get Bishop. We got Omega 3. We got Archer. And on the side of Sirius is kind of packing too. They got Prosper, Soup, Sovalis, Bandy, Femsha, and DaVinci. I'm thinking DaVinci's name is after the Da Vinci Code. That's kind of a tongue twister. Try saying that fast 10 times, man. Because I can't. I almost just ruined my entire sentence. I was saying, trying to say that name, man. This is about to be a wild set coming up here.
I gotta say, I remember Sirius. Were they a Link winner? I don't remember if they won. I'm such a good Link TL. But I do remember. I remember Soup in particular. What did Soup do? Soup did just some crazy plays. That's all I'm saying about Sirius right now. I mean, their entire team's really, really good. I'm glad to see them sticking around playing SOS, and I think this will be a great set against Campfire. Let's take a look at our maps too.
Let's get that look going. We got Sturgeon Rainmaker, Splatoon's Mako Mart, which is widely regarded by everybody in the community, depending on who you are, but most people in the community as the best map mode combination in the game. Probably maybe because Japan loves it too much. I know I love it because I'm biased because I'm a bucket player, and you know buckets go hard on Mako Mart zones. We also got Tower Control on Starfish. So for those two maps, Rainmaker, Sturgeon, and Starfish Tower, there's they both have spots that are notoriously hard to get through, with Starfish Mainstays being that first checkpoint, and Sturgeon just figuring out where to go, left, right, or through the middle. Either way, it's kind of a little bit hard. You kind of have an obstacle to get through, especially with all the jumps on Sturgeon Shipyard Rainmaker. Yeah,
I remember when I used to play comp, Sturgeon Rainmaker was just so tough. Your coordination has to be on point. If your team's not together, well, you're just gonna fall apart. And especially with so many ways to go and some ways being better than others, it's gonna be a test of how coordinated are these two teams. We're gonna see that put to its limit.
Yep, and I know Surskit's probably watching, and he's probably thinking about Sturgeon Rainmaker, a match that we played one time in a scrim. I was on the Soda Slosher, and I had no idea where we were going. End of the day, I only ended up with 3 kills in 5 minutes, which was absolutely horrendous and embarrassing. But that was my fault, because I didn't play as a team.
You gotta stick together on this map, and
yeah, and,
I'm losing it. I was reading something.
No, it's all good, bro. Yeah, but Surgeon's Shipyard, I would not be surprised if we see a custom jet squelcher coming out or anything with Stingray, because if any team chooses to go in that top left corner, that top left hand corner, it's a super easy spot to get Stingrayed out of, forcing anybody to drop as well. Really just weapons that can control the confined space well. Again, like 52 because of wall, but then again, it's 52. It can literally do what can't 52 do in this game. As we come into the first match, we see pretty standard comp from both teams. Really, only difference being we got a looks like a. Yep, we got the 52 on one side and the Sea Jet on the other. However, both teams popping armor. As the first pop looks like it goes to Campfire. As teams trying to fill each other out, Omega going down early as Sirius might take advantage of this. You have to take advantage of this and pushing pretty hard in the beginning. And see if they can... Okay, that was a nice trade with Storm too, as it looks like they're taking out on the top left. But like I said, Stingray coming out right here. They do lose the Rainmaker, but they didn't get past that one trick on Sturgeon, where if you make that jump where that conveyor is lifted up, that's an automatic 36 points.
And it's all coming back to me now. I remember when Sirius used to play Lunk a couple months ago. Their aggression was just unmatched. And we're seeing that here. I mean, they're already down to 43 points, not even in the first minute, and it only got stopped because of a Ray. Who knows how much further they could have taken it. But Campfire picking up that Rainmaker rather quickly. 2 specials ready on their side. I don't know if it's about time to push. Oh my gosh, Sirius is behind them. They're in front of them. They're on the sides of them. They're everywhere. This is some incredible coordination on the side of Sirius. And hopefully they can keep that up, because Storm, wow, Storm just taking an easy double, providing the jumps, single-handedly bringing this team back into mid, ready to push. All they need are those specials, and it is time to take that lead.
Yeah, for sure. Storm definitely came in clutch there, giving his teammates jumps back into mid. However, they didn't exactly make it far, as again, Sturgeon's kind of hard to make it really anywhere on this map because there's such huge choke points. And it looks like Omega might have been trying to go for that 36 jump before the conveyor came back down. However, Sirius is kind of saved by coming back down, as well as just like blocking their entire path as they regain control of mid, taking their positions to set up for wherever Sirius is trying to come back. Looks like they're all coming back from the top right as well. As we kind of get an early raid coming out from Campfire, trying to clear Sirius out of mid. But you are correct, JFeg. Seriously, Sirius, no pun intended. Their aggression is absolutely insane right here. And Campfire is definitely going to have to try to figure out a way to deal with that, because it's not exactly treating them too well.
Yeah, I've never seen a playstyle quite like Sirius's. I just feel like I have to like watch them in awe and just like study how they function, because I mean, earlier in the set I couldn't just stop thinking about how they were just like behind them and to the side of them. The pinch was just incredible. But looks like Campfire's still in a great position to push up. I mean, they're doing a good job playing a little slower, but slowly but surely taking that map control, getting their specials ready. Omega here going to just try to keep up the aggression. Don't want to overextend a little too much, but Campfire is doing a good job sticking together with the Rainmaker, and that's exactly what we need to do. We talked about that before the match started. Sirius is going to get wiped, and the Rainmaker is going to get popped rather quickly, and Campfire looking like they're going to take a KO, down to 5 points.
Yeah, Campfire definitely played that extremely smart. They were definitely playing patient. They didn't try to rush the Rainmaker like some of my opinions. I didn't notice Nico Chico just going for the Rainmaker,
Oh,
just dunking,
I
getting
looked
the
away.
cheese.
I looked away for 2 seconds and Nico Chico dunked it.
Yeah, Nico just got the cheese. Like I guess they didn't. I think he was just sharking this little speck of ink. That was like they just did not see that little speck of ink that Nico was sharking in, and Nico was able to just go in there and just cheese the Rainmaker, getting that dunk. But like I was saying, Campfire was playing that really smart. They were playing patient. They were just like, look, just let them come to us, and let's just deal with it accordingly. Because if because in the beginning of the match, they were trying to match their aggression. It wasn't working out. But that kind of just shows the diversity of Campfire as they adjusted their gameplay accordingly, and they were able to knock out the Rainmaker.
Yeah, I think the best thing a team can show in this game is being able to switch your playstyle on the fly. Because in other esports where you're playing yourself, it's a lot easier just to do that. But in Splatoon, when you have the entire team having to flip your playstyle just like that in the middle of a match, that's incredible. And I think Campfire absolutely deserved that win, because if you asked me in the first half of the game, I feel like Sirius would have won, because their hyper-aggressive playstyle was actually working out very well for them. I'm excited to see what these two teams do in Splat Zones on Mako Mart, a much smaller map, much more concentrated objective. What do you think?
Yeah, so for Mako Mart, aggression I think would actually fare a little bit better on Surgeon, just because it's such a small map and you don't have much space to retreat to on Mako Mart, because it's just kind of like so compact, because you're kind of going to be forced back into spawn if you get in a rough situation. So yeah, I'm curious to see what holds for Mako Mart, as we're about to see what comps the teams come out with right now, see if anybody made any changes. On the side of Sirius, we see an all-shooters comp, and Nico Chico coming out with the blob. Oh my god, I am so excited to see some blob gameplay right now. But let's see how it works out in their favor. As we see the 52 just running up to that right platform already, seeing if they can get some picks on the blob and the K-shot just hanging out there.
Yeah, already getting 2 down on the side of Campfire. Campfire got the 2 picks, and oh my goodness, Campfire. You know, you said earlier that they were playing a little slower, but like here, they're just coming in guns blazing. Already popping some missiles, keeping up that map control, and Sirius is gonna have to get creative on this one, because Campfire is everywhere at once.
Yeah, bro. Like I was saying, like it's either their aggressive playstyle is kind of like a double-edged sword. Either it can work or it can backfire. And as we've seen just there in the beginning of the match, the Storm getting a nice pick with that Inkling right there. But as we've seen in the beginning of the match, that aggressive playstyle resulted in them going 2 down, and Campfire getting some serious control on Mako Mart. And Mako Mart's one of those maps where control is can really just like either win or lose you the game. It can just be like a knockout from 100 to 0. Because let's see if they notice Bandy over on the left side as they get missiled. Trying to make their way back to the zone, trying to get some desperate clutch right here. Gets a nice pick on the right side, on the right plat. Yeah, Omega goes down as the blob is still on the right stack. I think they might have popped bomb rush too, as Kelp is kind of like wisely going back to their spawn, just making sure that they don't die, just to retain their special.
Yeah, and that was a super resourceful push that got him the zone. I mean, you saw all 4, I believe it was all 4 members of Campfire were missiled, and a Bandy just came in, took advantage of the fact that they were a little distracted, and just got the zone, and here they are. And they just popped a ton of specials, and now Campfire is experiencing what they were doing too serious earlier in the game, kind of getting locked out here. Kind of a battle of the 2 hyper-aggressive teams here on Mako Mart.
Yeah, no, honestly, I think this is where Sirius is aggressive. Sirius is I'm sorry, I can't say that. I think this is where their aggression might come in handy, as they were like pushing super far up into their plats. They could definitely keep zone here as well as get the lead. There's Danish popping the missiles as they go 1-2 down, as maybe they can get a clutch on the zone. It's a 2v2 in the zone, as they maybe able to neutralize the Storm. That was a really wise pick on Storm to get the K-shot trying to paint the zones. I think the K-shot definitely outpaints the Nautilus, as Campfire gets a second lease at life here with a huge 70-point penalty stacked onto Sirius. But let's see how well Campfire can hold the zone this time, as we'll see if Sirius can come up with a strategic re-entry into the zone.
I gotta say, Storm has definitely been the MVP of Campfire this set, but this set's been so good so far, and seeing how these teams like have to re-enter these lockout situations is always so interesting. Because here, I mean, that was looking very promising on the side of Sirius, but Campfire, they're ready to go. They're ready to defend, and Storm here going to not quite get the pick, but at least get that member of Sirius off the zone. And oh, it's just such a walkout inside of Campfire. I thought Sirius was gonna take it. I think it was Nico Chico on the blob. The blob's so good at just locking people up because it covers so much map control, not only with turf but with those projectiles. You can't get near those things.
Yeah, also the blob. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, also like the blob just like paints like way more than people give it credit for. So you saw how those bubbles just paint that zone, right?
Yes.
It's absolutely insane. The Danish is forced to jump out here, but yeah, the blob popped the bomb at the correct time in order to get that lead and getting it down to 3-2. As Campfire still retains that zone too. As Sirius is just gonna have to try again with coming up on a minute left.
And Sirius popping all their specials. I wouldn't be surprised if they cap the zone here, but Campfire, yet again, I think it's the blob. I gotta keep blaming the blob on this one. They're doing such a good job, just doing exactly what they need to do. Sit there and just spam the blob projectiles. And I think 40 seconds on the clock, 3 points. Oh, what did I just... Okay, I thought, yeah, what?
I don't know
how did they cap that? That was
I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't know how they kept that.
Anyways, I mean, Campfire still keeping that zone. That's all they gotta do. Both teams have penalties now, so with 30 seconds left on the clock, Campfire's just gotta sit on the zone and just defend it. I mean, that's all it takes right now.
Pretty much, yeah. Sirius is trying this last effort to get the zone, but this blob just keeps painting the zone and gets one too. The Nautilus, not the Nautilus, sorry, the Splash ends up going down. The blob is just like a huge thorn in Sirius' side right here.
Yeah, they gotta recognize that blob's causing all sorts of problems. Because if Sirius,
yeah, bomb rush again.
Oh my goodness. I said Storm was the MVP of this set. I think Nico Chico is the MVP of this game.
Yeah, Sirius had an incredibly rough time getting the blob off of that right stack. That was literally their main problem. And we got 10 missiles coming out from Danish, absolutely nuts. But 10 across the board for Campfire. Absolutely amazing team effort, but yeah, the blob was just a huge problem for Sirius. They just could not get Nico Chico off of that right stack because Nico just kept blocking everybody's path to get in because the blob bubbles, they don't have any fall-off damage. Each bubble does 30 damage. So it doesn't matter if you just like keep getting that chip damage poked on, you could even like die from the shrapnel damage from a bomb. As we go into the third game here with the Starfish tower control, we'll see if Nico keeps that crazy blob going on here, or if Sirius wants to make any changes.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be a bad pick here at all because most of this map's rather flat, so I wouldn't mind seeing it. I mean, it could work here. And I'm always biased to some more unconventional weapons. I know Blob's been rising in popularity, but I won't complain to seeing that again because that was an excellent performance.
For real, yeah. I think Nico Chico is taking some cues from my boy Isaac. Shout out to Isaac taking the blob. Homie with that 2800 blob, know what I'm saying? But, you know, the blob, a lot of people used to say that, like, oh, blob's kind of, like, bad on tower. Well, I mean, it depends on maybe, like, how you use it, you know what I'm saying? Like, it depends on how you use blob on tower. I think blob could be an absolute menace on tower control, as we see Sirius keeping large at the same comp. Yeah, see the keeping large at the same comp, but we see Nico.
Omega on the carbon.
I was about to mention that.
You know who Omega is. Everyone here knows who Omega is on that carbon.
Yeah, Omega bringing out their signature carbon roller with the haunt ability too. I caught that as Omega just goes in and just absolutely gets rid of Sov. However, that does leave Campfire going 2 down, soon to be 3 as well, with just a K shot up left. As Sirius definitely starting to take their positions coming up on this first checkpoint.
Yeah, Sirius having an excellent start here, doing a good job keeping up that map control, especially with that 3 down at the beginning, and getting their specials. I think this is going to be another moment where tower control spirals out of control here. We can see like a repeat of what happened last set, where they lost both the first games, but now they're going to finally pull it together on this third game, now that they finally recognize what's making Campfire take here.
But, yeah, is this a trend? Is this a trend or something?
Maybe it is.
Just lose the first 2 games, then win the last one. But it's okay as long as people live and you learn. You know what I'm saying? Live and you learn. Come back even stronger. Come back even stronger next time. As we see Campfire starting to set up for their first push. Storm bringing out the missiles, Omega popping their bomb rush just to keep Sirius at bay, keeping them on those top platforms so as to not interrupt Nico hanging out on the tower. But those Tempest missiles will, Nico getting off the tower just for a split second, but Soup coming barreling through on the left side, getting somebody in as well as getting Nico Chico. That was fantastic defense on the side of Sirius, being patient this time instead of their usual aggressive playstyle. They were patient with their specials, pushing back into mid, as unfortunately Nautilus overextends just a little bit. However, they are 2 down on the side of Campfire, so Sirius can still keep this push going, but nobody's on the tower right now.
Yeah, I feel like the aggression is going to be heavily punished, especially with that the blob and the carbon on the side of Campfire. The Sirius is doing such a good job this game despite that. Doing a good job just waiting in mid, keeping up that map control, playing a little slower. I like that, and it's working for them this game.
Yeah, because this meta doesn't exactly reward aggressive playstyles that much anymore, because it's more kind of like a passive playstyle with everybody just charging their specials first before making a move. And I'm happy to see that Sirius is kind of like making a little changes to their playstyles, just like doing more patient gameplay, kind of just waiting for their opponents to make a mistake. However, again, like nobody, it looks like Sirius is a little bit confused about who's supposed to be riding the tower as they get on the tower a little bit late here, as they let Campfire, like all their members respawn. As we see Campfire pop the armor, and Chico going down to an unfortunate suction bomb, as we have a 3v2 situation here, and Kelp wisely jumps out. Storm gets the pick on Bandy, going up on the snipe, trying to prevent Sirius from making it any further past that 54 mark.
I have a feeling Sirius purposely isn't trying to push up the tower a little too far, because they want to keep it right here around that second checkpoint mark, or first checkpoint. Yep, first checkpoint. I mean, Sirius was doing such a good job just keeping them at bay right there. I think they were pretty satisfied with leaving it at 54. I could be wrong, though, but I mean, that could be a playstyle they're pulling off here. But Campfire finally looking like they're going to cap that mid area, especially with Nico Chico on the top here and snipe. I'll push up a little more. Kelp maybe going for a flank here. Nope. Going for an attic. And both teams not really getting any picks here. A little bit an unusual moment here. Both teams just kind of fighting for map control. No one really going for any picks here.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, just like leaving it at the 54 mark, because that first checkpoint is kind of hard to get. This Bandy kind of just drops down out of nowhere from that attic, getting 2. See if they can get another one, as Omega kind of just trying to get Bandy. Definitely gets that pick on Bandy. Omega trying to go in the zone. Unfortunately, the carbon does not have enough killing power. I saw they went for that horizontal flick. Doesn't get that pick, unfortunately. As Sirius is back, just like pushing the tower back into the territory of Campfire. As this time, it was kind of Campfire being a little bit late getting on the tower. As Sirius pops armor 2 just to waste even more time, making it a little more difficult for Campfire to getting back into mid as they go 2 down again. With 3 left on the side of Sirius, just still keeping that tower there, just making sure that they. No, that was a nice little bit of tech of Sob getting back off the tower just to get on the snipe right here. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what Campfire can do to get back in this.
No, they're definitely doing this on purpose. They're keeping the tower right there, because watch. Campfire's having such a hard time battling Sirius when they're in mid with that high ground. They're having such a hard time getting into that area of the map. It's definitely on purpose, but it might backfire here. 3 seconds left, entering overtime. Campfire is going to have to ride that tower all the way past that first checkpoint and down to 54, which all things considered isn't that much, but looks like Sirius.
That's a
are they
delayed
all
wipe.
down? Is it going to backfire?
That's not good, man. That was a delayed wipe.
Oh, see if, no.
Yeah, it looks like Campfire's going to get that lead. That was a delayed wipe. Didn't have enough time to get back to the tower.
Wow, what? Oh. Yeah, what a way for Campfire to pull it together at the very end. Because I thought Sirius's playstyle was genius. I still think it is genius. That was so smart, using that part of the map as a defensive tool, because you're always better with the high ground, right? But Campfire clutched it out at the end, earning the 3-0.
Yeah, you can see that as Sirius was leading the way with KA, but Campfire, again, like you said, kept their composure, came back and getting the lead in overtime. They knew what they had to do. And it looks like we got another match already with Operation Paradox versus Summit. Everybody knows Summit. Summit's a crazy team, man. Summit's definitely won some SOSs, always being seen in the upper bracket as they got Leon, Havoc, Storm Hero, I apologize, I can't read Japanese. Q and Zuck going up against Operation Paradox. Operation Paradox is a pretty rising team. I think they're a little bit an underrated team in my opinion. So you have King, Gigi's Dan, CM, Pixie, and Balloon coming up against Summit.
Yeah, Operation Paradox definitely underrated, like you said. I think more people should know their name, because I think they're definitely on the rise here. But Summit, you know their name. Summit's been around for a bit now, and a lot of their players are pretty well known here. So I'm excited to see them in action here against Operation Paradox. And starting off on Claim Blitz Humpback Pump Track. This is a weird one. I mean,
Yeah.
I love watching this map mode, but like playing on it, oh, you gotta be smart here. You gotta play quick.
Yeah, Humpback Clams is a weird one. There's a lot of places you can go to score, and it might be good. Sometimes it can be a little bit hard just to track where people are because Humpback Clams is actually quite a big map for clams actually, as well. There's not too many specials that can help, but obviously, of course, Tempest missiles can help with anything. They can locate everybody, but Clam Blitz Humpback is really all about positioning as well as pushing with your team. Because you can't just like have one person push in one direction. You kind of like have to like push as a team in one straight direction in order to just to get the clam basket. And also we have Snapper Rainmaker here as well. That's a huge map. And then we have Zones Reef with the double zones. Yeah, these are some crazy maps in round 3.
Yeah, these are some weird ones. Now that you mentioned that, yeah, Rainmaker Snapper, pretty common. Spot Zones, the Reef, pretty common, but nothing really stands out as a definitive, like, this is a great map and mode. But, I mean, no one cares about my opinion, so I'll just be quiet. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like they're not bad maps per se. Like
Not
like,
bad. They're just a little more unorthodox, you know?
Yeah, they're like kind of in the middle.
The middle of the ground. Okay.
Explo.
Explo. I'm not complaining, but on Clam Blitz.
Yeah, I mean, I used to main Explo, and I know that thing can do some work on Clam Blitz, especially Humpback too.
Yeah.
Because Explo just does a ton of damage. As we see the missile jet coming out from King here, I think that's a wise choice actually because on the side of Summit they have 2 slow weapons, being the machine and the Explo. So those missiles might be a problem. But Q going in right away, getting the first pick. However, it quickly turns into a 3v3.
Yeah, Summit here. Oh, I can't really tell who's kind of getting that map control lead here. Looks like Operation Paradox doing a pretty good job getting that mid control, but no clear like hyper aggressive team like we saw last set. I mean, both these teams kind of feeling each other out right now, not sure really where to go. I think I see Operation Paradox trying to swing in from that left side here, but Summit here going to finally come in and maybe take the mid control. They're not really turfing as much. They're really going for scouting out the areas and seeing where people are first.
Yeah, and Q hasn't died yet, and it's been like a minute and 15 into the game. I guess we're getting the Q cam right here. As Q gets another one on the bottom right. Missiles 2 more on the left side of the map as they're forced to back up again. But Q finally goes. Speaking of Q staying alive, Q finally goes down as Zuck charging the armor, and GG's Dan holding the ball on the side of Operation Paradox, trying to get their specials together. They don't have any on standby right now, but somebody popping that armor as they try to push back in the mid, trying to get some more control up in here.
We're finally seeing what that Explo is for. Doing a good job just keeping people at bay. Even if the Explo isn't getting the picks, I think the map control it's providing is doing such a good job. I mean, you can't get near that thing. It's so good at just providing all that chip damage. And Summit's comp really complements that, especially with those aggressive K machine, the K shot are going to really complement that chip damage here. As we see the first score happen, Operation Paradox down to 71. It's better than nothing, but I think Summit could definitely bounce back from this pretty easily. So they're gonna want to hold on tight and keep that defense up.
Yeah, 71, not too big of a lead, especially in Clam Blitz. I mean, even though Humpback is a little bit hard of a map to push on, but King just hanging back. I think King is being a crucial part in keeping this control in mid, just like because Jet Squelcher just has like so much range and mobility. It's kind of just like hard to just like get rid of it, honestly. But we see the Explo getting I think the trade with King is 2 backliners trade. as Havoc having in the back off a little bit due to an armor being popped. Unfortunately, pushes in a little too hard, trying to get that pick, getting knocked out of his splashdown. As we see mid control go back again to Operation Paradox. Operation Paradox is doing a fantastic job keeping mid, but as it looks like Summit's going to push right back with Zug popping that armor.
Yeah, I feel like it should have been time for Summit to start pushing real soon, but maybe it is time now. Getting the 1 in and but 2 going down. Operation Paradox keeping up those bombs. I mean, I think that's what's single-handedly keeping up their defense, at least keeping it as strong as it is. But Operation Paradox doing such a good job with the defense. But I mean, Summit has that extra clam ready to go, so I feel like they could take that lead real soon. So Operation Paradox should definitely be thinking about pushing real soon. That was such a good slush on the K machine.
Yep, everybody who's anybody knows that the machine, if you think the machine's hitbox is big right now, yeah, remember the pre-patch machine's hitbox was the size of a whole universe, so be happy it's the size that it is right now, guys. As Havoc gets a fantastic double on the platform, which results in a push all the way down to 20 on the side of Summit. I think Havoc might have jumped out just to go back with his team. There was some excellent gameplay by Havoc as Operation Paradox gets mid control again, trying to find their way into the cleanse basket. As we see the ink check getting popped on the way on the right side, gets a nice shot on the actual basket.
Yeah, Operation Paradox knows exactly what they need to get a good push down to 25. That Jet knew exactly what they needed to do. Get rid of that explode. Down to 22 though. Oh, but the wipe's gonna stop it. This is a surprisingly close game. Especially at the beginning where we saw Summit kind of barely pushing, but now both teams really got themselves figured out here. They know exactly what they need to do. 12 seconds left on the clock.
Oh, Q stuck. Oh.
5 seconds left, and do we have an overtime? I can't quite tell. No, we don't.
No overtime. Didn't make a bowl in time, unfortunately, but I did see like 2 players on the side of Operation Paradox try to throw a clam in to get the lead when they were at 22, but unfortunately they were just not close enough to get that lead. But it's like we envisioned. This is a pretty crazy set so far as Summit walks away with that first win.
Yeah, set started out pretty slow, but near the end it started to get pretty crazy with some huge pushes. I am excited to see how that translates to Rainmaker on Snapper, though. A little bit of a bigger map, little more freedom to approach the objective, and both teams, I mean, they got each other pretty figured out. So I'm excited to see what they do here. What do you think?
Yeah, so with Snapper Rainmakers is one of the few maps where the first pop is not important because it does not really paint the ground that well, really at all. And it's very hard to even like die from the beginning pop anyway. In the beginning, because I wouldn't be surprised if we like see somebody like Hugh just like running around the Rainmaker just to try to get a quick pick or two in the beginning. As there are 2 ways you can go. Obviously on Snapper Canal, you can either take it left or take it right, going straight up the middle. The safest way is to take it around, and there is a trick where if you like just run it straight ahead to that wall, that's a immediate 29 points, I believe. However, if the opposing team is wiped, then we could see somebody just like run it straight up the middle. But we'll see if somebody maybe pulls out the C-Jet here, because we do see C-Jet is pretty common in like any Rainmaker map mode combination. But I think C-Jet definitely shines here on Snapper Canal because it is a fairly linear map and it might be a pretty easy day in the Stingray.
Yeah, all things considered, this is a pretty easy Rainmaker map. I mean, if your team knows exactly where you need to go, then it's pretty easy. But if you're going on the left side, I think getting up that wall, a little tougher. But, you know, it's all about options on Rainmaker as we get into the second game. Summit up 1, but pretty close set so far. So we'll see who takes this one.
Yep, and like I said before, we see 2 C-Jets, one coming out from each side. With King on the C-Jet and the anime fanboy on the other side with the with the jet. As we see one going down immediately. Whoa, how did that? Oh, okay, Stingray. Okay, I see. So the Stingray coming out on the side of Operation Paradox, getting the first pick on the other C-Jet. As immediately the V. Oh, by the way, we see a V splash. By the way, that's pretty sick. V splash is Yeah, we see a V splash instead of the usual Neo splashes. Honestly, I think both splashes are pretty good on Rainmaker. As you see some sick Rainmaker movement coming to King, pushing it all the way to 26, rendering the 29-point guarantee from running into the wall on the other side useless now, as Summit's going to have to push all the way into Operation Paradox's base in order to get a lead.
Yeah, and I want to give credit to that lead to Operation Paradox's start. I mean, that was a minute ago, but look where it got them. They both, instead of going straight for the Rainmaker, they actually went around and flanked, and that helped them get the picks they needed to make that enormous push down to 26 within the first minute. But it's time for Summit to flex their muscles here and pick up the Rainmaker. Looking pretty good, all things considered. That Ray's going to slow him down, but it did not get the Rainmaker. However, Summit's push kind of slowly falling apart here. Operation Paradox could go in and easily take that with only 2 near the objective here. But Summit kind of regrouped here. They're doing a good job slowing down when they need to. But I like I said earlier in this match, getting up that wall is going to be the hardest part of this push. If they're opting to go this way. Another Ray already going to stop it. It goes to show how long that push has been going on for if another Ray already stopped it.
Yeah, that's the thing about Snapper. Snappers are definitely one of the hardest maps to get really a good push in, because it's just so big. It's just a huge map. You kind of just give especially custom Jet Squelchers time to get multiple Stingrays, as we just saw right there, as the Summit's push is rendered ineffective. As we head back in the mid over here, we see most of the Summits in their street, as the Rainmaker's trying to, well, maybe, yeah, the Rainmaker's kind of push back up the mid, as we see the K-Pro having their Booyah Bomb ready, although it does get taken out by Havoc, and we see another Stingray coming out from King over there on the Jet Squelcher, which again, with the double Jet Squelcher on the 2 sides, it really all comes down to who gets the lead first and who can defend it with Stingray, pretty much. One has using for offense and one using for defense.
Yeah. Looking at the score and looking about halfway through the match, I think right now Operation Paradox, especially with these Rays coming out, they could win this game just by defending. I gotta say, it's a lot easier to defend on Rainmaker, and
nice shot.
What a great shot by Q, honestly. But yeah, Operation Paradox could sit back, relax, and just defend. Let Summit come to them. But looks like they're a little bit antsy. Well, I wouldn't say antsy, but they're not going to complain about a couple more points. They're going to want to pick up that Rainmaker and just stall for time, maybe. I'm not sure. Anything's game here.
Yeah, as long as Operation Paradox doesn't get too comfortable with their lead, I think they'll be okay. As armor was popped early just to get them out of there. However, Summit does not have armor anymore in case the Jet gets a Stingray. As we see, the Jet Squelcher's at 60 points now. The Stingray is almost there. As the Stingray's coming out, there's a Stingray and Inkjet combo getting rid of Dan on the snipe. However, it ends up able to clean that up, and the Rainmaker went down. I didn't see how the Rainmaker went down. Maybe he dies with an unexpected bomb. As Operation Paradox trying to push left again, really just stalling for time, like you said. Kind of just keeping the Rainmaker in mid, not making sure it gets it in any unfavorable positions.
Really goes to show how much the start of a Rainmaker match can affect the game, because I mean that first push by Operation Paradox down to 26 has just basically established what this game's going to be like. It's just a game to see if Summit can get past that for the entire game. About 1 minute left on the clock. Operation Paradox kind of found their footing. They're very comfortable just sitting in their base and letting Summit come to them. As we have a Rainmaker reset, Summit instantly popping it. We're gonna have to see if they shift their playstyle, get a little more creative. They're gonna want to make something substantial here. 30 seconds left on the clock. About 1 push left, unless they work really quickly here.
Yeah, one thing I want to quickly point out, another wall that Summit has to deal with is that Toxic Mist. As we see 3 Toxic Mists surrounding the Rainmaker. That's that's another thing that's been slowing them down too, because that combination of Toxic Mist plus the Stingrays making it near impossible for Summit to get anywhere. As Q gets another Inkjet shot, which is absolutely nuts. As Summit's going to have to get to that Rainmaker, as they do, is they're trying to push it over to the left side again, as Zuck is stuck on the far right side, not surrounded by much pain. However, the other Stingray coming in on the side of Summit and trying to get rid of the Jet, although Zuck does get double teamed and ends up going down. And this Rainmaker match is going to go to Operation Paradox. I think they did a fantastic job just comboing Mist with Stingray, just keeping Summit just out of there. They just could not move. You can't move. You're moving at the speed of a snail. You can't move anywhere.
Yeah, I'll credit that again to the start of that match where two people went on the right. They didn't go right for the Rainmaker. They went on the right, went for flanks, and it just spiraled out of control so badly that the rest of the game, Summit was just trying to push up and get past that 26 mark the entire game. What an incredible strategy on the side of Operation Paradox. Very risky though. If they failed on that first strat, we would have saw an entirely different game here.
Absolutely, yeah. Operation Paradox definitely needed to get that first lead, and they did play that very well, executing it perfectly. As we go into the last the game, the match-winning game actually, or set-winning game, excuse me, on Spot Zone's The Reef. And this is going to decide who goes to the Great White Bracket too. As I believe only the top seed goes to the Great White Bracket. As we come into Spot Zone's Reef, Spot Zone's Reef, well known for being that double zone map, it can be a little bit tricky to play. However, we know that the bridge on Spot Zone's Reef is extremely important. However, I think Havoc being on buckets will be very beneficial, especially if Operation Paradox continues going with these shooters, because the Kensa Slosher Machine and even the Soda Slosher is one of the few weapons that actually has a favorable matchup versus shooters too, because of all that range. That's why shooters need to have armor, because if you don't have armor, then the bucket's just going to have a field day.
Right, and on the Reef where that bridge is above the zone, you gotta be really careful of sloshers. And like you said, we got members on Summit who are notoriously pretty good with the bucket, and we saw Havoc. I believe it was Havoc running that K machine.
Yep.
On Claim Blitz, doing a pretty good job with that, using it exactly as you should. So I'm excited to see that kind of action here on the match-winning game, like you said.
Yeah, and I'm obviously everybody who knows me knows I'm a big fan of the Kensa Slosher Machine. Shout out to Brandon, bugging him on Twitter just for him to pocket Kensa Slosher Machine. Sorry, not sorry, bro. You know I will keep doing that to you every day. As we come into this last match, we see a remix coming out. I'm happy because we don't see Splatlings much of anything anymore. Splatlings are kind of like an endangered species, you know what I'm saying? There's Havoc running Ninja Squid on the machine this time. I think that's going to be pretty good, actually, because Reef is a pretty decently large map. Is like I said before in the beginning of this match, we see both teams trying to go for the bridge as early missiles coming out from the missile spam Jet Squelcher. As one splash goes down, Q on the splash too was trying to get the pick on the Zep, trying to pay for armor on that bottom left corner here. As we see like 3 points inside of Operation Paradox, but it's really just the team is still trying to figure each other out as the first cap goes over to Operation Paradox.
Yeah, all in all, both teams kind of still feeling each other out in this first battle. And Operation Paradox looking like they're about to edge it out. Yeah, I mean, most of Submit's kind of pushed back a little bit, so that's going to give Operation Paradox a little bit of time to cap that zone, get those points down. And that remix on bridge is going to be devastating. I mean, we see Summit. No. No. Operation Paradox has the jet on the bridge.
Yeah, the V-jet.
My bad. But Summit, if they do take that bridge, it could be equally as devastating, if not more, because I think that Booyah is a great stopping tool.
Yeah, for sure. However, the VJ does have the missiles in order to shred Booyah as well, so the remix definitely has to be careful of the Jet Squelcher's missiles coming out. As a Jet Squelcher again only has about 180 missiles, so it can get them like probably like every 20 seconds or so with each use. As we see Summit keeping pretty good control of mid, as the blue bomb's going to come out, probably maybe throwing it at throwing it right under the bridge, trying to clear everybody out. As Q is just going absolutely nuts on Operation Paradox, getting those picks. Q does not want to lose this, man. This is just the V-Jet left on the side of Operation Paradox. Q is just going absolutely in. Q has that Q actually has bomb rush ready too, just in case they ever get close to the zone. As the only tool to stop that bomb rush is the Booyah bomb coming out from the K-Pro.
Yeah, Summit definitely slowing down a little bit. They want to keep the specials ready for whenever the next push is, which is happening now. You can see them all popping right now. But Operation Paradox, all things considered, did a great job considering they're all alive and they capped that zone. Incredible performance on their part. But that remix gonna stick back and just let Operation Paradox come to them. Oh, never mind. He goes down and everyone's going down. I can't tell who's about to take zone. Oh, looks like Summit's gonna hold on to it. Maybe. No, it's the Operation Paradox. I give up. Who's gonna hold
a little
zone?
bit confused with these names and colors, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we definitely see Operation Paradox trying to get this control going on. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, they need it. They need this control. That's what also was benefiting the machine as well. Is machine not exactly the best painter in the world. Having all that control kind of had the machines kind of just like sharking right below their platform, getting a couple picks as well. As we'll see how Summit tries to move back in here as the clock keeps ticking down with only 20 left, and Q starting to pop the Bombers, but the Shark coming out and getting another one from the. I think that's Pixie? Yeah, Pixie. Their name is just backwards. Yeah, Pixie just getting that crucial double right there, getting rid of both the Splash and someone else. I think it was the Zap, because that was their armor play too, as the lead goes to Operation Paradox.
Yeah, both their scores are so low and the clock's so low. Both teams are going to have to play so quickly in order to, you know what, before I even finish that sentence, looks like the game's about to end. And that's over. The set. Operation Paradox did such a good job this set.
That's a little bit of an upset right there.
Yeah.
Moving to the upset right there, man. That was a crucial double by Pixie. That was an amazing double. That was absolutely crucial because if Q would have gotten off that bomb rush, they may have gotten the zone in time. But Pixie also coming through with a top frag too, with seven kills as Operation Paradox takes the 2-1 over Summit with some clutch gameplay coming out from Pixie, but also as always amazing gameplay coming out to both teams.
Yeah, if I were Operation Paradox, I'd be feeling great right now. That is such a good win for them, and I'm looking forward to see the rest of their tournament run. Honestly.
X.
Alrighty, and
we'll see if we have a next match coming up. Here.
Looks like we're taking a break for groups to finish up, and then they're gonna see Great White. But
cool.
Before we take our break, we got a couple plugs to make. So
let's do it.
First of all, we got Low Inc. November 2021, the tournament for newer and lower level teams, a 2-day event, groups to double a limb. If you're interested in playing, go to play.iplabs.inc/lowinc or LI. And then early in December, we got High Inc. 2 coming up, the Low Inc. Invitational. We got teams that won Low Inc. and teams that are banned from Low Inc. We got 16 teams lined up, ready to fight. If you are a longtime fan of Low Inc., you definitely don't want to be missing this because it's going to be cool seeing these teams return and face off. So don't miss that.
Pull up.
And Ken, he played High Inc. 1, so you already know.
I didn't play High Inc. at all.
Oh, no, you didn't. Luau did, though.
Yeah, Luau did. I wasn't allowed to play because I was not Luau when they won.
Well, you're lost. You're not invited.
Unfortunate. I'll be cheering from the sidelines and maybe coming on commentary if you like what I've been doing here so far. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Cannonball in the building. I mean, I always be keeping it real and fresh on the mic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think. We're gonna take a break while the TOs seed Great White. So good luck to the TOs.
All right, peace.
Welcome back to Swimmer Sync, ready to start Great White Bracket. Again, my name is JPEG, joined by Cannon 2K, who just lost a solo match. How are you feeling, Cannon?
Not feeling too good, man, because I was the random generator bot forced me to play Tri-Slosher. Dropped some fat KA and still lost, but that's okay. That's just the life of solo queue. Just forget about it and move on. As we got Memory versus Tempest, and I recognize my former teammate and still favorite martial arts friend, Drift T, on the side of Memory. We also got Luke, somebody who looks like they're making the neutral face on the on Discord, Nova, Rhythm, and Newt. And on the side of Tempest, we got Red Show 1, Bandit, Fire 3K, Henry, Omega, and Kento. It's gonna be looking like it's gonna be one hell of a clash on the first round. I'm not counting that as a swear word because everybody says it.
Absolutely. And I'll be honest, I'm not too familiar with these teams, so I am looking forward to seeing. Well, I do trust your judgment. I do hope this is gonna be a good one to kick off Great White on this first match. Let's take a look at the maps real quick, and we got starting us off on Tower Control Starfish. We just saw this map mode a couple sets ago, so we'll see if that holds up.
Yeah, and we also see that the scoreboard hasn't been updated yet, so just a little reminder, Toasty. Yeah, so we're seeing TC Starfish main stage again. Pit Clams as we've also seen that map mode combo as well as Muscle Forge Rainmaker. And if nobody gets 3-0'd, we can move on to Splat Zones on Inkling Art Academy. Also, one of the favorite map mode combinations of a lot of people in the community. I wholeheartedly agree. I love playing that map mode combination, as well as if it goes to the game 5. We can look forward to seeing Anchovy, Tower Control. Now, a lot of these maps they have in common is they are pretty special, push reliant. There's not really like any real huge gimmick really on these maps, except for maybe Tower Control, Ancho, just like controlling the fans. Which, speaking of Tower Control, that's the only mode that that will have to be played twice if you go to a game 5.
Yeah, but these teams are gonna definitely want to keep up their A game when it comes to Tower Control if they end up going to that game 5. But starting us off, we're gonna have to see how that first game turns up with Tower Control and Starfish. We did see that earlier, and some playstyle shifts we saw from earlier teams on this map mode. So starting us off, we're gonna have to see how these two teams handle this map mode.
Yeah, TC Starfish, like we mentioned a couple matches ago, it can be a little difficult to get past that first checkpoint, really, just because of how easy it is to get up on that snipe. That's why both teams are going to have somebody on that snipe to prevent them from interfering with that first checkpoint there. As well as the second checkpoint. Well, honestly, actually, all of the checkpoints on this map are a little difficult to get through, but that's why we may still be seeing some low point matches around here, as teams try to feel each other out in mid. Maybe see some teams maybe go for the flanks on the left or the right side, just to try to get whoever gets the first pick is going to be the one to push up and get the other team.
Yeah, anything can happen here. And again, I'm not too familiar with these teams, so we're just gonna have to wait and see what these two teams bring out, and then we can start getting a little bit more of a feel for these two. But
yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully this first game starts soon, and then we can jump right into the first game of Great White.
Yeah, we also saw both teams actually had a pretty large roster from what I've seen. So we're also gonna have to see who each team decides to send in. Maybe see if they can have any substitutes throughout the matches as well. As since this is bracket time, it's going to be a best of 5 starting here instead of the play all 3 that we've been going through in the group stage. And really, we're gonna have to see how teams play off based on momentum, really, as well as what weapons are going to be played. I know, having played with Drift, I know Drift is a really competent squeezer player. So we'll see if Drift brings out the squeezer, especially for Clan Blitz Piranha Pit. I would not be surprised if Drift ends up bringing out the squeezer. Also, Red Shell 1, also a Piranha Brush player. We know Red Shell loves bringing out the brush because the brush is it's a very uncommon pick because a lot of people actually don't know how to deal with Octobrush running around. And they can also definitely rip apart most teams that are not prepared for it.
Yeah, definitely a lot of ways this match could go. And as you mentioned, you seem to know a lot more about these teams than I do with the weapons. So I'm just waiting for this match to start. I mean,
It's okay. Take your time.
no, I'm gonna rip the apart here. I mean, the last 3 sets I knew the teams, but like here I'm struggling to come up with
I
something.
got the higher level teams here, bro. I got you. Don't worry, bro. That's why I'm here, bro. I got
No,
you.
I got I'm head deep into low level. I can't. I'm
It's
struggling.
all good. It's all good, man. I'm a washed highest mid level Splatoonies player, man. I got you, bro. I got you with these teams and what weapons and maybe play styles I could be playing. I know we got my homeboy Rhythm, Memory 2, another fellow bucket connoisseur. No, he loves his catch and slash machine just like I do. Coming up on the first match, Starfish Tower Control. We're seeing Bandit coming out with the classic charger as well as the brush coming out from Red Shell 1. On the other side of Memory, we got a junior as well as Drift on the spot. Wait, running double swim, no MPU splash. That's interesting. And Nuke coming out with a ballpoint too. We haven't seen that in a while. And a V bucket coming out too. So we got quite the comp coming out from Memory. As the teams are coming here in neutral, trying to feel each other out, seeing who can get the first pick over here. As looks like Emery was waiting to pop that armor, however, it's a little bit too late as two of his teammates go down.
Yeah, and Memory here going to get that first initial push, 30 seconds into this match. Oh, great snipe by Bandit, and taking that double before going down. And yeah, Memory's going to keep up that pressure. And again, like you said, that ballpoint's been a while. I mean, when I played comp, ballpoint was meta, so I definitely, I mean, it has been gone for a while, but here it is. Going to ride the tower as...
Oh my gosh.
Bandit's getting such good shots here, but it's not going to be enough to quite stop Memory here. Looks like Tempest is going to get that map control in check and maybe bounce back from that 1 minute into the game.
Dude, remind me to never go anywhere near Bandit's charger because it's looking like Bandit just does not miss right here because it's absolutely insane, man. Like, I feel like Bandit has at least like a 60% shot rate on his shots. These are absolutely nuts. As Memory just like getting a taste of Bandit's charger, definitely gonna have to be a little bit more careful as Red Shell comes along. Gets a nice pick on Rhythm on the bucket right here, but the first ends up going down to Newt on the top attic of Starfish, trying to be very careful making way to charge. Unfortunately, doesn't see the bomb right behind him as Rhythm gets a nice pick on the Emery as they go 2 down on the side of Tempest. However, Red Shell just coming through clutch with the Octo Rush, getting another one too. Drift going down on the splash. And Red Shell starts to take a position with the hammer.
I'm loving the sniper because we saw, who was it? Bandit, right? Bandit doing such a good job on the defense, but now that the Tempest is switching to offense, he's doing a great job providing jumps and keeping up that pressure. Tempest has been pushing up for a while now, but those jumps are helping out a ton.
Dude, I don't know if you're seeing Bandit's KA right now, but it's not even halfway through the game, and Bandit's already at 8 shots in, man. Absolutely crazy as we go 2 down again on the side of Memory, as no teams have broken the first checkpoint. But it looks like excuse me. Looks like Tempest is starting to get a little bit close here as the juniors forced to back up and not able to challenge the tower. However, now they're going to go around getting one and getting another one on the tower. It's just Bandit left on the charger trying to use Bomb Rush to keep that control in mid right now. As it looks like Memory is looking to set up to make a pretty good push with the junior having armor, looking to use it at a strategic point. As Memory definitely needs to get someone on the snipe. Looks like Drift's going to be doing just that, making sure nobody can get to the tower easily. As the junior pops armor, trying to see what they can do, but Bandit again just not missing, just clipping the armor off of the junior. And again, dude, what's with this guy, bro? He just doesn't miss.
Absolutely relentless. I mean, you mentioned it's hard to get past that first checkpoint, especially with 2 backliners on each team, or 2 backliners on each opposing side, but just Bandit. I mean, let's talk about that last push. I mean, Memory had all 4 specials going out, and all it took was just that sniper on that one spot where no one could reach him to kind of slow down that tower enough to stop the push. But here, looks like Memory is finally going to... Well, it's a little hard to tell. I mean, the map control says they should be pushing up more, but I don't see any players on the field until now, finally going to hopefully start up that push again. They gotta find a way to get around Bandit, though. I mean, there's no pole dancing around that tower to stop that guy. He's going to keep sniping.
Yeah, looks like they didn't see Red Shell coming around those. Red Shell ends up getting 2 people and just stops Memory just short. 2 points left as Drift trying his hardest just to try to maintain his position as he gets a nice pick on the zapper, but unfortunately goes down to Henry as being too weak from that fight with the end zap. as Tempest is trying to push, trying to make their way back into mid, trying to get some control over here. Bandit's not going to be able to get these snipes forever, as we saw. Memory just figured out a little bit of a way to get past Bandit finally. As both teams back in mid, going neutral, both teams popping armor as they try to get rid of the charger. However, Red Shell was waiting for them. It does go down from the bucket, and we see 3 down going down this side. Oh, full wipe, boom, right with 20 seconds left to go. And it's not looking like Bandit's gonna get back in the position to get the junior off of the tower as Memory starts to take the lead here.
Especially with Newt here on the top here is going to be a pretty dominant spot. And all things considered, not a huge lead here, so it's very possible to see an overtime lead here on the side of Tempest. But they're gonna have to work really hard here. And I think, you know, Bandit's playstyle with providing the jumps just isn't going to work here, so everyone's going to have to play a little more aggressive, and we're going to see if that works or not. No.
Oh, they
didn't
got
quite
it.
see what happened to the tower there, but yeah, didn't quite work in the end, and I believe Memory... Yes, Memory got it. I couldn't tell. The match was so close, I couldn't, like, remember who was who, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they just barely edged it out, despite Bandit's excellent performance. 15 splats. Doing a great job for a sniper.
Yeah, like I mentioned, it was a pretty low point game because the Starfish just extremely hard to get past that first checkpoint. I honestly thought that Memory was going to get a bigger push out of that, but they ended up making it work out. And again, Bandit, like you mentioned, Bandit's just absolutely going nutty on the charger, man. Like for real, like none of y'all getting that reticle of Bandit, man. You're just going to be sent right back to that spawn. As we're going to go move on to Piranha Pit on clams right here. We're gonna see if Bandit will stick on the Fire Fin, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bandit goes on the Bamboozler here, as the Bamboo is definitely probably the best charger to play on Piranha Pit if Bandit feels like they want to stick to that. Because again, like I mentioned a couple matches ago, missiles are an amazing special on Piranha Pit clams, getting everybody to move out of that clam basket space.
And as for everyone else, I think anyone could stick with the weapons we saw last game. I mean, anything goes here. Especially with the comps we saw last game, I think. But these teams don't really care what is meta. They're going to play whatever they want.
Pretty much, yeah. I also saw Red Shell was kind of on an L3 rampage in October, so I mean, we'll see if Red Shell brings out the L3 for Piranha Pit clans. I would not be surprised if Red Shell either brings out a Hammer L3 or really any of the L3s, actually. All of the L3s have pretty solid kits, with the Hammer one being the odd one now of having Wall, but you know, but again, you know, like you said, we'll see what the teams be picking out here on Clanbiz, because the compositions are definitely going to make all the difference. As we also saw Nuke playing ballpoint, which again, like you said, we haven't seen really much of any ballpoint gameplay since it was meta.
And we're going to see if we see that ballpoint again, or any other weapon for that.
All three.
And there it is. And
so Red Shell coming out with the L3D, the Inkjet variant, which is probably the better one. This Inkjet does a better job clearing people out of that clams basket. Seeing Enry on the missile zap and Bandit on the C-Jet, actually, which is probably a better pick than playing Chargers. As we see Rhythm just like swinging his controller mad, getting that crazy flick on the bucket as they go 3 down already, and Bandit is forced to jump out, having 25 clams already on the side of Memory. Memory's not playing around, man. They're trying to get this 3-0 and get this over with.
And I don't blame them, especially in Great White. You want to get up there. But I gotta say, this is a stark contrast to the last game, where it was just so close. I couldn't even remember who won or not, because the scores were just so similar. But here, down to 36, not even a minute into the match. Looking pretty good for Memory, but you gotta keep your toes. I don't know what I'm saying. You gotta keep be aware. Anything can happen on Clan Blitz.
Yeah, excuse me, not a long day at work, sorry. Okay, so back up into here, we see both Drift and Rhythm push back into the clams basket, but Rhythm getting a nice pick on the Inkjet, predicting that a Red Shell will pop that behind that wall there. Tempest looking to get that football in, however, they're not going to get much out of that as just the orange zap alive. As Nuke's looking like Memory's coming back in the mid. We see Nuke still staying tried and true to the ballpoint, as the ballpoint still providing a pretty good wall. I think Nuke's having a little better time versus Bandit too, as Nuke doesn't have to worry about Bandit coming through with the charger just to get him out of there. However, Bandit still ends up getting in with the Just Squelcher anyway, as I said that. Having Stinger ready, however, with 2 people down on the side of Tempest, Bandit's looking like he's gonna try to make something happen here. However, a really well-timed armor from Memory coming out to survive the Stingray. As Drift pushing up with that squeezer, the famous Drift T squeezer. Come on, bro, show me something cool, Drift.
Not today.
But yep, not today.
Tempest slowly but surely getting the map control in check, but nothing substantial enough to get past the 36 mark that Memory set first minute of the match. We're nearing halfway through the match, so they're gonna have to get moving real soon if Tempest wants the chance to win this one. But Memory slowly crossing that mid line in the map, and they're looking pretty coordinated. They're looking like they're ready for another push right now. But 2 down. Tempest just barely doing a good job stopping that push. Even though they did break the basket, it's not going to be much for them, and it's going to give Tempest a pity clam, which is going to help out any potential push that is coming up from them.
Yeah, I was about to say that looked like a weird spot for Bandit to pop Stingray there, but ended up working out, as I think Bandit was able to get 2 people throwing clams and going clams in the basket. However, Memory does knock down that penalty down to 19, as one power clam gives them an extra point, and that penalty will be gone. As I feel like Newt's kind of like Jaws here, just like walking forward with the ball playing, just like dun 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 dun, anything like that. And we got a 3v3 coming on here. There's another Stingray coming out from Bandit, trying to get some picks. It looks like Bandit does get the ball point as the Jaws on the ball point ended up going down to the Stingray right here, as it looks like Memory's getting pushed back on the defense.
Yeah, they're doing such a good job on defense now. They got that figured out, but defense will not win you the game. They got to get pushing, and looks like they are. Red Shell on the Jet, and a couple other players slowly but surely turfing their way up. And can they get past these missiles and bubbles that were placed on the side of Memory? Looks like they will, and Bandit's going to pop that Jet while holding quite a few clams, but they are going to throw in 2 power clams, I believe. Yeah, I think that was 2
points. 8 points.
Down to 50 points. Still getting the picks they need.
He's that clam.
Oh, not quite gonna get that extra ball, but 1 minute left on the clock. If they can work fast enough, I think it's very possible they could take the lead.
Yeah, unfortunately, they were not able to get that power climb in. It just looks like the jump up for somebody that had that power climb was just not close enough to the basket, as they couldn't get it in. And I think it was Henry. Henry tried to save that as hard as they could, but unfortunately to no avail. And I think Memory might have gotten a little bit lucky with that one, as Memory is still kind of like a little bit back up towards their basket, as armor popping on the side of Tempest, as they really want to try to get this last push, and they do have a clam, 19 clams. That's definitely more than enough to get a lead, as Junior gets it, like, oof, absolutely just lasers, getting laser right there, and as I'm just lasering the Junior, as they do get the lead down to 12 with 10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, that was insane how they just immediately switched to super aggressive playstyle. They should have been doing that this entire game, but hey, at least they got the lead now. 1 second left into overtime. Going to be tough for Memory, but I mean, we've seen it before. They could do this. Red Shell going to get that pick. Oh, Red Shell is in the right place at the right time. Getting that clam holder. Who looked like they were about to pass it to someone, but looks like they didn't. Red Shell just gonna sit there and wait for that victory to roll in.
Yeah, Red Shell sitting opposed for the camera, man. And you definitely called it earlier, JPEG, saying that it looks like the Memories was getting a little bit too comfortable with that lead, as Tempest came back and ended up getting that lead with only like a few more seconds to go in this match. And again, looks like Memory was kind of like scrambling a little bit for clams, and Tempest kind of just took advantage of that. And they just couldn't get a push going in overtime.
Yeah, evening out the set, 1-1. Gonna move on to Rainmaker Muscle Forge. Nothing is on the line yet, but you definitely want to get as many wins as you can. You don't want to be losing on this set, especially the first set of Great White. So let's see what these teams do on Rainmaker Muscle Forge. This is definitely a tough one to be pushing on. So, but these teams should hopefully have a game plan for this one.
Yeah, Rainmaker Muscle Forge is definitely one of those maps where it's a little tricky to push because you really only have one direction to go. I don't really see any teams pushing up through that little tiny bridge, and that's connecting mid to everybody's spawn point. One weapon I know that does do quite well on Rainmaker Muscle Forge is the Sploosh 7, but we'll see if anybody has the cojones to bring that out in Great White, which I'd love to see it. I love seeing some Sploosh 7 gameplay, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think Sploosh 7 is definitely one of the most fun weapons to play in Rainmaker. But we'll just see what these teams have to offer right here. As Rainmaker is kind of a back and forth match. A lot of people consider Rainmaker as kind of just being like extremely unpredictable, which is true. Anything can happen in Rainmaker. However, I think we might also see another CJ gameplay coming out with Bandit, unless Bandit wants to go back to playing Chargers. Bandit might be playing the playing a scope charger maybe. I haven't really seen Bandit play too much on scope. However, it was coming in here, we do see Bandit sticking with the C-Jet, as we see largely the same comp actually as Drift going back on the splash, and it looks like it will be an MPU splash this time. But let's see which team gets to pop first, as it will be on the side of Tempest. As we're seeing that every single person on Tempest has last ditch. You see that? Everybody has last ditch ever.
Oh wow, that's definitely not by accident. I mean, last ditch. I guess I don't know. I heard it's a pretty good ability though. But I mean, you gotta respect that coordinate. Okay, hold on. No. I'm gonna stop talking about that. We got one on each field. What happened here? Everyone's going for kills. No one's going for objective. That's definitely gonna slow down the pace of this game. But as both teams come back in, they're gonna be fighting for that turf, and then fighting for specials, and then fighting for the objective. And we see that raid coming out, which is going to help Tempest get that map control they need to hopefully start their initial push. 1 minute in the game, no one picked it up yet.
Yeah, it kind of forced Newt to go to that bottom left corner, as it actually worked out in Newt's favor, as Newt was able to get that pick off a red shell. Sending the random Newt trying to take a position right here in mid, as the orange Zap Emery just coming around. Without anybody seeing them, and getting the pick on the Rainmaker to stall a little bit for time, as looks like that was a good play, as we see Bandit having a Stingray ready. However, New does spot Red Shell hiding out in the bottom right of the map. A Stingray coming out from Red Shell, as Newt's just trying to use that ballpoint run speed to get across the bridge. Unfortunately, not getting too far, only getting to 78, as it looks like control of mid is going to go back over to Tempest.
Yeah, and both teams are so desperate to not have that Rainmaker push up too far. I mean, anytime any of the teams have picked up the Rainmaker, I might be eating my words here, but anytime the team has picked up the Rainmaker, they go down rather quickly and easily to something. Newt here in a pretty good spot to stop the Rainmaker from pushing up any further than they should, although they've already gotten down to 50, which is a pretty good spot to be in, but down to 20, 10, maybe KO here? Yep. Not quite, but that's a good spot to be in. Oh, hold on. Okay, well, I looked away for 2 seconds again, and then the KO. That seems to be the thing that's happening this SOS.
Yeah, looks like Emery was a huge thorn in their side. It's like everywhere you look, like Emery was just flanking them every single time. Emery was kind of just doing the same thing, just coming up behind Memory and just getting the Rainmaker and putting them in unfavorable situations. As Newt, unfortunately, was a little bit too slow to get Emery, as Emery just came up on that platform, just took him right out.
Yeah, Tempest seems to definitely be having a switch of playstyle. They're playing a lot more aggressive than they did initially in that first tower control game. And we saw them kind of switch in that last minute of the Clan Blitz game, where they suddenly started playing so aggressive. And here, I mean, all it took was really one push from them to take that KO. So hopefully they can keep up that momentum, that energy, and maybe secure the win here in Splat Zone's Inkblot Art Academy. Pretty even map, pretty neutral, and I don't know. It's anyone's game here.
Yeah, Memory could definitely bring it back. They're just gonna have to adapt to Tempest's new playstyle that they just kind of came in out of nowhere. So again, Splatzone's Inkblot Art Academy can be a little, pretty easy to lock out somebody, as that platform is a very susceptible target for the Tenta Missile and Stingray combo. If Bandit chooses to stick with the custom jet sculpture, we could potentially see that. As a Tenta Missiles, again, I think Tenta Missiles is probably one of the best specials in the game right now, being extremely devastating on Inkblot, because it can both get people stuck on their plat as well as move people who are just hanging out on the in top mid. But we're gonna have to see what everybody goes. We might see Rhythm sticking with the bucket. Probably going to see like a lot of last ditches coming out on here too. As we see Red Shell going back to the L3D and Bandit on the back on the Fire Fin. We see Nuke coming out with the remix, which might be a good choice actually, for getting Bandit off of that top mid snipe. We see Drift sticking coming back with the Squeezer, and Rhythm sticking with that Vanilla Slosher.
And I do agree with these changes with the backlines. I mean, I'm excited to see the backlines fight again, especially on a map like this where the zone is centralized, no moving objective, nothing like that. So I think having an anchor on your team is making it a little more interesting. But Tempest here going to get that first cap, and they're doing a pretty good job at maintaining the pressure here.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a little bit difficult for Newt on that remix to like poke their head out because of Bandit hanging out on that top snipe. As Drift is gonna come in with the bubbles and getting rid of one, might get the another one, gets a nice double. However, it's going to be the Charger just left in mid. But it's just a 1v1 between the backliners, and of course the Charger is definitely going to win this versus the Heavy, as we've seen throughout this set. Again, Bandit just does not missing these shots, just like getting everybody. Unfortunately, gets caught in the Booyah Bomb, which is probably for the better, as Bandit was just like getting that bomb launcher to try to keep the zone a little bit longer for Tempest. As it looks like a Memory is going to clean up the rest of the Tempest members, getting that zone cap, and looks like they're going to try to establish control, see what they can do to lock out Tempest, prevent them from coming back to the zone.
Bandit back in play here, and Memory now has that zone capped, so we're going to have to see what Tempest does to retaliate. It looks like it's going to be pretty effortless for them so far, so looking pretty bleak for Memory. I take that back. You see Rhythm here on the side, kind of providing a bit of a distraction playstyle, but nothing concrete or nothing that's going to earn them back the zone. So both teams kind of feeling each other out, fighting for the zone here, and Memory's going to come out on top here. Going to get through their penalty slowly but surely, but Tempest already coming back in, possibly going to cap that zone back and say no to gaining more points. They're going to reestablish that penalty.
Yeah, Red Shell getting a crucial pick on the Junior, as the Junior was actually very close to getting armor too, so that was a really nice pick by Red Shell. However, Omega going down quite early with no armor to protect their team, as Memory's going to take advantage of this, popping the armor of their own. Again, like Bandit just knocking off that armor off of Newt. This is what I've been saying. It's a little bit difficult for Newt to be poking their head out from behind any platform, because Bandit's not going to be missing those easy shots. Like, if Bandit sees you, then Bandit's like probably like 60-70% of the time, Bandit's going to hit that shot. So Newt's definitely going to play a little bit more careful, as we see Newt taking a very aggressive position over here on the bottom left corner along with Rhythm here to try to get somebody off of their platform, as they do see that Tempest has all 4 of their specials ready as they're popping off right now.
Like you see Bomb Rush and Red Shell on the Jet here. Not going to do too much in terms of picks, but it is going to get in the zone back. I believe Drift going down with the bubble, not too good for them, and that's going to be a wipe on the side of Memory. Tempest going to bleed through that, bleed through the penalty by the time Memory's back. So Memory's going to want to kick it into full gear and get that zone back real soon. And like you said, that remix going to be a tough matchup on the side of it's going to be a tough matchup for the remix on the Chargers. So as a former, or I still main remix, but I don't play comp anymore, but I gotta say the remix could easily take out anyone else on that team, but the teammates on the side of Memory are definitely going to have to help out with pressuring that sniper.
Yeah, for sure, and we do see the penalty finally going down on the side of Memory, but Drift unfortunately getting taken out by the Inkjet as Red Shell gets another one and takes down the Juniors. Just a remix left, and I think Memory kind of just needs to find a way to lock out Tempest better. Tempest kind of just seems like they're coming back a little easier than Memory is, probably partially because of Bandit just like being such a threat in top mid, as the Firefin scope can reach like pretty much nearly anywhere on their platform. So they really only have like armor to rely on to get back in mid without getting pieced by Bandit. As you see the Booyah Bomb coming out from Newt, but unfortunately gets shredded by the missiles. That was a clutch missile coming out from Emery's. Emery gets another one, and that's going to be the game going and the set going to Tempest. As Tempest going out, showing some textbook Splat Zones gameplay, doing some great lockouts on Memory.
For sure, and again, their aggression is doing it's making them go so far in this set. I mean, the first game of the set was looking pretty bleak. It was a pretty close game, and Memory just edged it out. But Tempest at the end of that Clan Blitz game, just flipping the switch, going full aggro, and then that's just the rest of the set. Here they are at Splat Zones. And I gotta say, it's good that they're avoiding that tower control. I mean, I feel like they would have did so good on tower control, but you know, with Memory winning on it, you just want to avoid it entirely, you know?
Yeah, and that's all she wrote, man. But again, good gameplay from both teams. Excellent stuff. So after this is pretty much going to be it for us. The next two commentators coming up is going to be Vern and Skep, and all of them, all that good stuff. I hope everybody enjoyed some commentary. You know what I'm saying? Looking forward to High Ink 2. You can find me on Twitter again because thankfully I made another account because I shouldn't have gotten it taken away from me in the first place at Cinderace2K. You can find me over there on Twitter. You already know I'm tweeting some funny stuff all day long. Everything like that. It's been a pleasure commentating with you, JPEG, and go do your outro.
Oh, my outro?
Yeah.
Can we put the low ink slide on for my outro? Can we do that?
Yeah, Toast, you want to put it on there for him?
Yes, there it is. All right, we got low ink. I mean, my Twitter is at play low ink, so you definitely want to be playing low ink if you're eligible. The tournament for newer lower level teams. Play.iplabs.inc/li. And that is all from me and Cannon. No, it's fine. And that is all from Cannon and I. Thank you so much, and we'll pass it on over to our next commentators.
Yep. Peace, guys. Have a nice night.
Prepare for trouble and make it double. To protect all viewers from K-52's devastation.
To stream to the world, swim or sink.
To denounce the evils of disconnections.
To extend our reach to the late night hours.
Skep!
Fern.
Team Vimo blasts off at the speed of light!
Surrender your bulb or prepare to splat.
Hello everyone! Welcome to SOS! We are here on this wonderful Wednesday evening. My name is Skepidillions, and I'm here with Fern. Are you ready for some seriously good matches?
I am very ready, but I'm really laughing. You did it so well, and I had the Team Rocket song playing in the background just so it make it more fun for me. I am really ready. Who are gonna be watching today, Skeppy?
I know that it's Rissa's Experiment versus fan favorites Tuki. Everybody knows these two teams. We know Rissa, she's a fantastic commentator. Pika's a wonderful blob player. Storm and Taylor, and then Tuki, you know?
Oh yes, I know Tuki. I've been watching them on... Actually, no, I commentated Tuki doing Flutie, and was not only one of the most... let's just say, exciting for my vocal cords, 4 hours and 30 minutes. But the sets themselves were very nice. We got a great finals on Black Belly Rainmaker, even with the disconnection. But that was Rising Makers. But Tuki on the semifinals was playing so good. They played so well the entire Flutie. I honestly would not expect anything to go... let's just say, I think everything's gonna go extremely well. The set is gonna go just fine.
Yeah, I expect this set to be a pop-off. Pika's one of, personally, my favorite players out there. Fellow blob player, can't give that up. Rissa is just a marvel of the scene. And then Tuki is one of the most popular teams out there right now, and I really love watching them play. Do we know what our map modes are tonight?
I actually don't. We already got Tuki favor on the stream with already 2,000 stream points. Oh, we got the maps right now. It is on gonna be Mako Clamblitz, Rainmaker Mantis, Flat Zone Humpback, Tower Control Sturgeon, and Clamblitz the Reef. And I'm stupid, I'm watching the Twitch stream and not the Discord stream. Sorry for that.
Fern. Alright, wonderful. I do know that all of these are on the Ludi map list, so if you were watching this stream tonight to help prepare for your upcoming run in Ludi, definitely two teams to keep an eye on in this upcoming set. You might learn a few things, bring it into your own gameplay. That's very important. Learn from those who are better than you. Clamblitz Mako, very heavy-hitting map mode, very frontline heavy. You occasionally see an E-leader or a Fire Fin, but you're not going to be seeing those on Clams. I definitely expect to see some Tri-Sloshers here, as well as the Blob. I know Pika really pops off with that Blob on Mako Mart. What are you expecting, Fern?
Well, you already mentioned, I do expect Blob for this one. Bamboo is also going to be the choice. The K-52 and Splashin' and Zap gonna be also the most expected, but actually I think there might be a presence of the Junior instead on one of the teams. We might also get some... Actually, no, the Bucket in general is one of the best weapons to play here. I completely agree. Even better than your shooter.
Yeah, and we do see interesting comps coming out on both sides. Is that a Vunder? Oh my god! Oh my! That is a confident pick right there from Pika on the side of Rissa's Experiment with that Vunder. What do you think of that? Because I'm kind of shook.
Wunderbar, I think it's a wonderful idea. And we're already seeing a very good pop-up from Tuki with a wipe at the beginning, already putting some clams on the board. That is actually teamwork happening right here. Rissa being the one to get the clams in order to get a little bit more. They already passed the 60 points mark. 50-point mark. This is a strong push, Skeppy.
Yeah, in the first 30 seconds of the game, we do see they are down to 41 remaining. That is extremely significant, with 3 members down on the side of Tuki. We do have Rissa over here just going and going. Oh my gosh, they managed to keep that basket open, but Rissa's the only one up, so she's going to have to jump out. And Tuki, rightly so and wisely so, is going to take control of mid as quickly as possible.
Control of mid from almost like getting wiped kind of twice. At least one of them was a little bit delayed. Armor's going to be enabling a second push here for Tuki. They have lost a little bit of points at the beginning, but I don't think it's a point of the game that is still cannot be flipped entirely. On the engagement here with the 52 and the bamboo on the close engage against the squeezer, that was literally obviously a lot of pressure for Squeezer to deal with, but it seems that with the end of the armor, just Tuki losing one player is going to be just a rush push. Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah, rushing in there with the curling bomb from that bamboo. We do see Poppy over here getting some clean picks, trying to cancel that splashdown, but that's not going to work out for them. The 52, no, that's the squeezer, man, popping off, getting a kill, trying to pressure that bamboo off of Snipe, because that's going to prevent them from pushing successfully. Both teams are just fighting for neutral right here. We do see that they have an even amount of clams. Absolutely.
Yeah, most of the fight has shifted all the way from a very aggression between teams to a more trying to conquer mid and not get wiped at the time.
Yeah, we do have one on left stack, the Vunder. It looks like Tuki is preparing for a push, but they don't really have access to it with everyone but the K-shot being down. And instead, we do see Rissa's experiment going in for a second push, trying to just prevent their own basket from being open.
The push. Oh, so someone passes by and Storm here, trying to get the engagement. Unfortunately, the 52 finishes up. I would say that was an interesting point. Like, you gave them a little bit of a power clam, and you have a big advantage for Rissa's experiment team. This sounds like not such a bad idea. The RNG doesn't put the splashdown. The Booyah Bomb gets popped and broken, not taking any players, and Storm easily shreds that Booyah Bomb from Tuki. It seems that just in general, this match isn't off Rissa's experiment, and Tuki is having some trouble of just getting map control and pushing. And that's why I think, yeah.
Yeah, we did see that Vunder shielding that squeezer as they approached that basket. I wanted to see what they were using that Vunder for, and definitely very interesting to see it there at the end, shielding their own player. I mean, that's what undercovers do well. I just didn't expect to see it on Mako Clams, and it worked out very well for them.
Indeed, like Taylor and Storm definitely were very focused on painting, and together with the synergy of Rissa's Junior, that becomes really, really hard for them to come back from a well-controlled map, especially after the first push, which was basically the best one from the entire match, since it like just managed to get 2 wipes on a span of 40 seconds. The last one was just like everyone was just agglomerated in the enemy base, and it was just too hard to get into the defensive position and push Rissa's team away from the basket.
Yeah, they didn't really have an edge on getting in there. I imagine that first push, getting all the way down to 21 remaining, is quite devastating, and countering that definitely becomes a little bit of mind games. You want to be able to work up and handle that, but Tuki never really seemed to have a moment to do that. They did once, but that with that curling bomb, with that bamboo and the power clam, but it didn't work out. I definitely look forward to seeing how they handle Rainmaker Manta, though. This is very different, and I don't expect to see that Thunder coming out here.
Oh, maybe they do. That's the experiment part, and that actually might be because, like, what is the kit of the Thunder? Like, it is
Splashdown mines.
Yes, it is a very weird set, not that much of an engagement, but it can be strong on the right hands. We see the charger from Tuki popping up. The Thunder once again pops up. Yes, it is the vanilla one. Instead now Storm has the Nautilus. Taylor goes for the K-shot, and not much change from Tuki's side.
Yeah, bringing out the Thunder once again for a Rainmaker match. I have to say I am positively bamboozled by that weapon choice. Pika going around for a cheeky little flight, trying to deal with that Junior, I believe. Unfortunately, does get pins. Rissa and Storm finishing off that kill, though, clearing out the rest of that street, going to be able to grab that Rainmaker and push it right, it looks like. They do have Boppy over there on the side of Tuki in street, ready to defend. That's going to make it quite difficult for Rissa to get across that jump, and Boppy does get that pick.
That was a great pick, but it doesn't seem that Tuki is able to stop the enemy push. Rissa, someone at least picking up the Rainmaker and already dropping at the enemy. The enemy drop. 26 points is no big. It's a very big push, and the splashdown gets the pop. They try to one more point, which I would say it was kind of worth it. But with Storm, no, Storm's on the Nautilus. With the K-Shot still alive, I say that the control of map, here comes again with the pressure on the left side, the K-Shot is still alive and it has basically a short Tuki that they have control of mid, which makes it harder and harder for them to push.
Yeah, it's worth noting that Rissa's experiment did get all the way down to 25 remaining. Getting past that 33 mark on Rainmaker Manta is most definitely the challenge there. We do have a 2v2 situation on both sides. Rissa and one other member of Tuki are currently in mid. The Stingray coming out from Z, though, getting a pick on that shot, and it looks like Joe is preparing to help their Rainmaker run this down the right side.
Rainmaker trying to get us something to push in, still waiting in mid. K-Shot and Storm playing a little bit defensive, trying to get closer and closer to the Rainmaker, getting the picks necessary in order to stop the push. Z is protecting the Rainmaker as much, but Storm jumps in from bunker, gets the Rainmaker, but Boppy stops their much needed aggression. Armor being popped from Rissa. K52 trying to engage. Splashdown from... No, there's no K52 from Rissa's team, sorry. But I thought there was. And it was just basically a massacre happening mid with everyone just trading and then getting splattered afterwards.
Hey, K52s are so common that you see them when you don't actually see them, am I right? We do have Rissa swimming around down the right side, Taylor getting the pick on Boppy there in that pit area, so Rissa's going to be able to drop and possibly extend their lead here. With two members coming out of spawn on the side of Tuki, that is quite a moment to be able to do something with this.
Now 17 points, so close to the end goal. 52 down, 52 is down. Z is watching the Rainmaker. Pika is trying to find an opening. The splashdown goes in, a lot of turf. Taylor gets the Rainmaker, goes all the way to 7. That's basically all the Rainmaker before just going to the pedestal, and it's a wipe. Tuki managed to get a wipe on Rissa's experiment team, and at the same time it just seems it's gonna be harder and harder to push. They might need to find some openings on the left or right and not get picked. The Rainmaker will be reset, which will give them a moment to breathe.
Yeah, they definitely need that moment to breathe, working up and getting control of mid here, but they don't only need to get control of mid, they need to get control of Rissa's experiment street if they want to have a successful push here. We do have Sakura pressuring that Nautilus. Oh, and a clean trade there between the Junior and the Knot. Very impressive from that Junior. We do have the Vunder going down as well, so it looks like Tuki is going to be able to finally begin a really clean and concise push. They know that Rissa's on the other side of that wall because the missiles gave her away, and Sakura's also in position to try and push her out of position. This is a good push. This looks like it's building up to be an excellent push.
With this KZ on the street, two people do go down. It's just a K-Shot. Where the hell is the K-Shot? He's on the left side of the podium. They have a chance to put the K-Shot goes down. They just need to pay for the Rainmaker. See, you had the opportunity to win.
Swim.
And they managed to do it.
Oh man, that was a very beautiful and clean push, and a fantastic job from the members of Tuki in responding to each other and helping each other out. You can see when they all immediately identified the K-Shot that was in pit, that how they all like rushed to take that down and paint for that Rainmaker. I was so sure that Rainmaker was going to get picked, but nope. Tuki clutched up and said, not today. Very interesting that we got a KO on Clams from Rissa's experiment and now a KO from Tuki on Rainmaker Manta.
That seems it's gonna be a very, very hype semi-finals round. And with Zones on Humpback, which okay, so Skeppy, I don't know if you watch it, but on what happened on that match on the finals of Flutie, the K52 threw a wall, like they had the opportunity to, it was just an overtime situation, but the Junior was placed on the wrong side of the wall and someone threw a bomb, splatting the Junior. Just because of that, they lost the game because they lost all the output the Junior was doing to neutralize the zone. And will this happen here? I honestly think Splatzone's Humpack is a very hype match to watch in terms of like it just moves so fast and it's just so fun to see all the possible things that can go wrong. And then at the end of the day, enemy team plays marvelously and finishes the KO.
Yeah, given the aggression that we saw from rissa's experiment on that first match, and then that clean final push from Tuki on that last Rainmaker match, I definitely expect this to be a pop-off moment. And we see the Thunder coming out again! What is with this?
I would say it's a good choice. I like it.
I like it. I'm also confused. It's not supposed to work, but it's working. We do see rissa's experiment being the first to cap that zone, but the foil squeezer goes down as well as the shot that's going to make it a difficult hold, and it flips in favor of Tuki. Pika and Rissa are both on bunk. Definitely a situation where you could get bombed out. It's a very difficult place to be when your opponents have control of zone. Charging for specials, we do see missiles coming out as well as armor, and I expect to see that Thunder getting ready to do a splashdown in that zone. That is exactly what happens as rissa's experiment gets control of that zone.
Oh no, the bomb was behind the Umbrella, and the Booyah Bomb couldn't survive the missiles either. The control of the zone honestly is in a standoff, like they're just fighting from both sides. There's a lot of picks going on. rissa's experiment team has control of the zone. It's a 3v3 situation. We have Charger on the left side. Z is trying to get the position. The zone flips back into Tuki's control. rissa's trying to get control of their trenches, but Storm right here with the armor managed to get an opening over the window, and the Booyah Bomb comes in and just neutralizes back to Tuki.
Yeah, Tuki clearing those penalty points, increasing their lead as we speak, but no! rissa's experiment comes in and says, sorry, we don't like that, you're not gonna have more than a 10-point lead here. Gets control of that zone once again, but we do see that Rissa gets sniped by that Fire Fin. 3 members down on the side of rissa's experiment, and Tuki has cleared control of that zone, and they are working to push up as aggressively as possible, and the final member of rissa's experiment is forced to jump out.
Tuki has the control of the zone. They're trying to get as much paint as possible to Z is in a very aggressive situation. Tries to get a pick. It gets a good one on Storm. Pika is still there sharking, but Z knows where the position needs to be. The points of penalty have been depleted. Taylor is trying to fight an opening with some misses being point. Going on the left train, trying to go for a flank. Jose, 3 people on the left. Here comes Taylor once again. Gets picked with the 52. That's unfortunate. A lot of aggression from the team. Splashdown coming, but it's on the Cubby, so he doesn't think the zone as effective. And just a squeeze with popping bubbles on the left side of the zone. It is a very much of an impact happening in mid, and it Tuki takes control of the zone at the last 2 points of the game, gives them the win.
Oh my, breathe, Fern, breathe! Wow, okay, that last Booyah Bomb from that K-52 was absolutely gorgeous. Getting those picks absolutely enabled Tuki to secure that win, and we are moving on to a Game 4. We do see an interesting amount of armors coming out from Sakura in such a short match. 5 armors is very significant, and she was painted for it.
5 armors on just that? Oof. I would say that's not just like smart, it's just like strategic painting, like knowing where to paint and when to pop armor properly. Also helped Sakura to get even more armors in the entire match. There were good opportunities, I would say that much, and Sakura managed to take them very well.
Yeah, and we will be moving on to TC Surgeon. I expect the juniors to do very well here. I personally enjoy playing junior on TC Surgeon. It just works. I expect to see the Thunder coming out again, which is not something I ever thought I would say, to be honest, Fern.
I mean, you have been playing Kunders, so you kind of understand the weapon itself, and we're all surprised here. Imagine if more weapons were to be played on the future sets. Just imagine, like, maybe we can even see a YouTuber pop up randomly. But we can dream.
I know a couple of unironic YouTuber players, so to be honest, I'm more surprised by the Thunder than I would be surprised by a YouTuber. Maybe we'll see a YouTuber this round. Who knows? We're all being surprised tonight.
True. There's the Thunder again.
Once again, we do see that Vunder coming out from Rissa's experiment. I guess they decide that they are experimenting with that Vunder, and Tuki sticking with a more traditional comp, switching for that V charger for that Stingray, which everyone knows is kind of broken on tower control. Pika taking control of that right side, forcing Boopy back. They're going to have to force a 2v1 in favor of Tuki in order to stop that Vunder, but that splashdown, man, that's going to force Boopy nearly off the edge there. 2 members down on the side of Rissa's experiment. That Vunder is still kicking though.
Yes, that was a very smart splashdown because I don't think it was intentionally for the pick, but to reset the canopy umbrella, it's like you just want to regenerate the shield. Very good snipe from Z from the tower, trying to get the break on the second checkpoint. Z has Stingray, trying to find a good opportunity to use it. Sees that there is no one flanking from the left side. It has the opportunity to push the tower even further and further beyond. Sakura on tower manages to survive all sorts of bullets from the K shot, from the squeezer, from the umbrella. It just seems that Tuki has the control of the match compared to the first one. It just seems to be on Tuki's favor.
Yeah, Rissa's experiment on the defense here. They regain control of their court, and Rissa is bombing up that left side. She knows that Z is over there and has to figure out a way to force him out because you don't want a sniper blocking your path there. The Vunder and the K-Shot do trade on mid, and the K-Shot goes down as well on the side of Rissa's experiment. So Tuki is going to begin yet another brutal push.
Oh, this is another Ray at the same position that Z has. This is legit a good opportunity even for getting more and more points. Even break the last checkpoint. Rissa trying to throw some bombs to get the charger away, get the control of the tower, but there was someone on the crates. Here comes the K-Shot, the bubbles to finish it up, and it seems that 2K has lost the opportunity to push, and it's gonna be Rissa's team time.
Yeah. With 3 members down on the side of Tuki, now is the time for Rissa's experiment to very quickly gain control of their opponent's pit. We do see Storm over here trying to apply as much aggression as possible before his teammates are able to meet the rest of Tuki. Trying to get that pick, putting pressure on Window. We do see Sakura and Taylor over there. Sakura getting the pick on Taylor and Buki getting the pick on Storm, meaning that Vunder is still alive and kicking, has no choice but the ball back.
Agreed. That was just a Vunder left alive. Sorry, wrong weapon. Gets a trade underneath Fight Club. Z trying to ride the tower one more time. K-Shot trying to get the pick from the left side. Taylor is having a little bit of trouble. Z has actually I think it's a safe jump, trying to preserve the Stingray and going for a defense position since they have such a big lead.
Oh man. Yeah, something took out that charger. I don't know what, but something did, and they do lose that Ray, unfortunately for Tuki. But Rissa's experiment, look where they are. They're up in window, they're up in street. That's a significant amount of pressure. We know Rissa's on the tower by, just because that's where a support player would be. Now they cleared that first checkpoint. This looks like this match could flip in favor of Rissa's experiment if they pull this off right.
True, but unfortunately it's just gonna be the K-Shot left from Rissa's experiment. This is still, I would say this can still go both ways. Like we have still 1 minute and 30 seconds. We saw at least 4 attempts of push, 2 from Tuki and 2 from Rissa's, maybe even 3 from Tuki. I might have lost the account. But it's just in general, is all hands are up for anything. Everything can go down.
Yeah, having cleared that, the most important thing that has happened so far is that Rissa's experiment has cleared that first checkpoint, as did Tuki, but you can see that Tuki didn't really put a dent into that second checkpoint quite yet. So if Rissa's experiment can get that into the pit, and with that K52 being down, that is huge, they can definitely pull lead here.
Nice splashdown from the Thunder. Bubbles being applied to get even more closer. They do get the lead. This is going for a game 5, everyone. They are not breaking the checkpoint yet. Just Rissa left alive. She goes for a little bit of aggression to get a little bit more points. It is worth it with 40 points remaining. Just gonna be a difference of who managed to push even further now. Will Tuki be able to push and break the last checkpoint, or will Rissa's team have been able to finish it off at the last game and put them on the finals?
Tuki is beginning that push. The K-Shot did pop their missiles, and the Junior did pop armor. So now they just need to get control of that pit. With 2 members down on the side of Rissa's experiment, they might be able to pull this off. It's certainly looking like that. Storm putting pressure on that tower. Oh man, that Booyah bomb and getting sniped at the same time, stopping them from any opposition there. Z on that tower already at that second checkpoint. We do see that. Oh! Man, okay, Rissa was the only one up, gets picked, he gets the tower. We do see Pika in position, but it's too late. Tuki has taken the lead, taking the set.
So close.
That was incredibly close.
That was too close. Like it was just a matter. Like my Wumi, on the, I think Jorge, Joe, Joey. Not gonna guess it anymore, but the K52 with the clutch on that 2v2 situation, and then it was just Risa taking Z at the end. That was so clutch. That was good. Oh my god.
Yeah, extremely clutch, especially when you had two members of Rissa's experiment in position to try and take that tower. They were both literally a meter away from that tower. Incredibly close. Way to take that 2v1 just long enough to be able to eke out the W.
Very clutch indeed. Also, I do believe we might as well wait, because on the other set, so we might as well call for a break.
Yeah, sounds wonderful,
for the finals. Okay,
Alright,
we'll
see you all
later.
soon. everyone, welcome back to SOS 48. My name is Skepidillions and I am here with the wonderful, lovely Fern, and we are going to be watching a match between Tuki and Tempest.
There's a lot of
tease.
there's a lot of tease on that sentence for sure. I would say that's gonna be a great finals for sure. And also, I keep wondering, like, basically what we're seeing is kind of like a preview from Ludi in terms of like when most likely gonna be placed on the same div or similar divs, and I think Tempest and Tuki have proven to be on the same level.
Yeah, Tuki, everyone is who isn't a fan of Tuki? I do recognize Tempest, their player Red Shell, for his challenges on Twitch. So definitely looking forward to both of these matches and seeing how both teams pop off. Also looking forward to stuttering on those T's. We will be starting with Rainmaker Starfish. We do see Tuki bringing out once again that V-Charger instead of a Fire Fin for that cheeky little bomb rush, and then Bandit with a C-Jet for that Stingray option.
Yeah, Bandit did play Fire Fin on Starfish TC, but now with the Rainmaker, it seems it's going to be a little bit more towards the Jet Scorcher for spamming some Ray and playing a little bit more defensive. Because honestly, Starfish, I would say, is kind of like I usually trash talk Black Valley, already on the left, for its Ray spam, but I think Starfish will play too defensive after getting a little bit of a big lead on 18 points.
Would like to point out the double zap comp on the side of Tempest. We did see a double zap comp win SOS last week. That was very interesting. So worth noting that Tempest is choosing to bring that out. They are going to push from the right side, but they are going to be called out and picked by that Stingray. 2 members down on the side of Tempest make that 3, so that push is as good as dead, and that brush has no choice but to fall back, but does get picked by that shot.
That was a very good opportunity for now to start their own push. 52 Gal trying to get a little bit of thing on the left side. Z with the charger, Z the backline with the Rainmaker. Almost gets picked by the brush, but his teammates get picked instead. The Rainmaker gets 1, but at the end of the day, it seems the K-Shot is just falling back in order to save their special and try to at least contest a little bit of mid. It's 3 people on stage. It's Tempest has the opportunity to push even further after this.
Yeah, that CJ does have their Ray ready to go to either facilitate a push or defend against one. We do see that Zap are getting closer and closer to their special. With that K-Gal being down, man, that is a clean snipe there from Z, getting the pick on that Rainmaker. Tempest, their armor, they might be preparing for something here, Fern.
The pushes are coming in, the clutch ends up trying to survive after the armor just got shredded, but unfortunately the armor from Tuki was just still getting started. They have control of mid. Rainmaker sets 3 people on right side, K-Shot using this on the left, on the right as well. Sorry, I get those confused from time to time. Z is trying to get an opportunity to get the Rainmaker. 2 people left from Tempest. This looks even more to get points from Tuki's side. Who's gonna do what?
Tuki is beginning that push down the right side, and they are going to pull lead here by 2 points. That Stingray coming in handy to help them. They are going to wisely fall back and just maintain control of mid here. Get that Rainmaker as it's coming back towards stage instead of going in there and feeding for it. Red Shell going in for a flank. He is noticed, though, does get picked by Boopy, which means that the Tuki is maintaining a significant amount of control here with mid, using those missiles, trying to access that Rainmaker, but Tempest is going to choose to reset it before Tuki can eke out any more points.
That was a very good clutch reset that could have been gone terribly. You were losing 1 player just in order to put the Rainmaker back in mid. Jet Scorcher has the raise. My man Bandit jumping out, not jumping out, using Ray to try to push, but unfortunately the K-Shot has already invaded the enemy spawn for so much, just trying to get an opportunity to even push, but unfortunately just gonna jump out, and it seems that Tempest this seems like a more 50-50 game. Like, anything can still happen, but so far Tempest has been getting less opportunities to push since Tuki was just getting so much 4v2 situations.
Yeah, that 52 going in, trying to get a pick on that brush, does so successfully. Tuki once again picking up that Rainmaker, trying to push it down the right side. We do see Omega there ready to defend from that. They are almost at armor, got a little bit more to go though. The Rainmaker carrier goes down along with the shot, giving Tempest access to mid there, and Omega getting the pick on that Ray.
It's a wipe, a little bit of a delay. Wiley has the opportunity for Tempest to push in. They are gonna go from underneath, trying to get a little bit of a jump, get a little bit of points, but just 53 points is so much.
That 1 point meme. Oh my, never mind. Tempest using the pop to get a clean wipe on Tuki. Henry in position to KO with that Rainmaker. Oh my goodness.
No, I'm clicking
Just
this.
when we thought it was over.
I need to click it.
Yeah, that's a moment to rewatch for sure. Just when you thought it was over, man. That Rainmaker pop getting that triple, absolute clutch.
No, because like here's the thing that I saw. Like Z was so far away from the entire explosion. How did the Rainmaker explosion manage to pop? Get two people. One protecting the last ramp, and the Junior on top right. How was it even possible? No, I honestly. I'm calling literally unfairness right here. That Rainmaker explosion was just lucky.
Splash damage, you know? Got a little bit of chip on somebody. Sometimes the Rainmaker explosion logic does not always make sense to our feeble minds, Fern. But math is math, and somewhere in the algorithm, that was a fatal pop. We will be moving forward to Splat Zones Wahoo. Personally, one of my favorite map mode combinations. What do you think about this one, Fern?
It is actually my favorite too. Like many options, like we can see dynamos here, we can still see blobs, we can bomb rush, like we're gonna see maybe the splash making a comeback, but still, and zaps. Also, you can even play Rain special and zap. I don't get the
83, yeah. I love the 83. It's definitely a very good choice on Wahoo. I'm waiting for the day someone runs a triple zap comp with the 85, 83, and 89. Just like, please, someone do it. Also, maybe we'll see a Vunder, JK, and less.
Imagine all weapons are. I'm not gonna say it. But yeah, I do actually want to see the Thunder again. That was actually fun. It was actually like just seeing more Splashdown show up, even though it's not the best special. It's still fun. Like, I actually like the weapon itself. I think Vunder's Umbrella should be better treated by the algorithm so they don't get punished for something like that. And we're gonna start the game.
Ooh, we do see the double zap comp coming out on the side of Tempest once again, except bringing out that nozzle nose instead of the brush there on the side of Red Shell. Both teams are at mid, but the Junior does have armor. Ooh, no, I take that back. The 85 pops their armor first. How unusual. We do see Sakura with a 1v1 over here on glass, getting a pick on that nozzle nose. Tuki working up, getting a 2 down on the side of Tempest, meaning that they're going to be able to cap that zone and hold forward.
Control of the zone is on the hands of Tuki. We already see Sakura, the Fire Fiend, gaining position. The control of the left side is on the hands of Sakura. With 2 people down from Tempest, this does seem an opportunity to at least get at least 40 points. 3 specials already, armor coming in. Inja will probably come soon. Here it comes, top right. Hoa is watching the right side very closely to not get splattered by that.
Yeah, Omega getting the pick on that shot there, trying to find a way to access mid without getting picked for it and punished for it. Tuki doesn't have any penalty points. That is quite a scary lead. 31 remaining and counting. With that 52 being down though, that splash is going to pop. Bomb rush, not a splash, a fire fin, excuse me, contesting that zone. It looks like the zone is flipping in favor of Tempest. That is absolutely necessary at this point in the game. Man, that was a beautiful snipe from that fire fin on that other fire fin, though.
Charger 1v1s do be like that. And already we're seeing the roles being reversed here, but Henry, instead of just pushing in, it's impossible to get even closer and closer to them. We see someone climbing the left wall of the left glass. Henry is just baiting an opportunity for them to push in so they can punish their aggression, their reckless aggression. Control of the zone goes back to Tuki with just a little bit of coordinated specials. Almost coming from Tempest, trying to get control back of the zone and not get flooded at the same time.
Yeah, they do manage to flip that, applying penalty points to Tempest. It is a 4v4 situation for control of mid. It looks like Tempest is going to be able to cap though, but even though their nozzle nose is currently down, Bandit Bombers trying to stall for a little bit longer, knowing that there is at least 2 players on Tuki's plat. One on glass for sure, but 2 members are down on the side of Tempest, so Omega and Tempest have no choice but to fall back.
Tuki is just losing a little bit of penalty points while Tempest is respawning. The Fire Fiend gets picked by probably the Fire Fiend given the position, or a little bit of aggression to the left side. Control of the underneath their base, it's all blue. This is literally not a good position that Tempest wants to be in, and it was just 16 points remaining on the penalty and 18 points on the clock. Fire Fiend, the K-Shot do go down. Red Shell has an opportunity to get even more picks, trying to get control underneath the wall. It does get control, but at the same time, it does have a lot of penalty that you have to go through, and the zone goes back to Tuki. It was just a little bit of...
Oh man, that inkjet cancel. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Tuki does currently have control of the zone. Joe jumping in, and look at that paint on the plat and their court. Tempest has quite a significant amount of area to paint up in order to be even able to contest mid.
Oof, this is honestly just an opportunity for Tuki to... Honestly, I think Tuki is gonna get this one with just how many times they were able to get away with such a 40 points penalty with just everyone but the L3 coming alive. But the bomb rush cannot be outpainted, and it's a wipe, and Tuki takes the second game. Oof.
Yeah, we are in a 1-1 set in Grand Finals. That is exactly what you like to see. What a clean match from Tuki. You could just see how much blue paint is there. Tempest didn't really have a way to access that zone successfully.
I agree, and now we're gonna go for TC Inkblot, which honestly has been proven to be the map that can finish so fast. Will Tuki or Tempest be able to in just one push get at least 2 checkpoints down?
It is an interesting question. Rainmaker is a map mode with a mobile objective, just like Tower Control, except with Tower Control it's on a fixed path. Tuki's comp definitely worked better for that stationary objective on Splat Zones. I am curious to see how both teams choose to address a mobile objective.
Well, technically speaking, we already saw a mobile objective that's called the Rainmaker. I would say it's just gonna be a matter of taking control, getting the first pick, getting control of the one of the boxes in the middle, and then keeping pressure from that point while you're moving tower. And that's first checkpoint down, and second checkpoint at least attempted broken.
I definitely expect to see that Inkjet come back out. It does very well on TC Inkblot. Also, wouldn't be surprised to see a Blaster. I feel like I see Crapid every single time I play TC Inkblot, regardless of the situation. Very good map mode for that weapon. Maybe double zap again? Given that Tempest has now run that twice.
True. I do believe that the double end zap will still come in clutch. Bandit will honestly keep the charger because Bandit is very good with it, but also is Z, both very good. Also the possibility of just L3 popping out and off again. So not much of a difference in terms of the comp from the left side, but we still... Honestly, I think, yeah, double ends up armor, that's it.
Yeah, except this time it's double zap with the armor and a V-Jet from Bandit for those missiles. Yeah, with the 85-89 combo with the armor and missiles, you really can just slap that on any comp with 2 aggro weapons and expect it to work. But this is interesting. They do get the pick on the K-Gal. Bandit is going to take that tower and begin a push, but we do have one zap down. Red Shell is on their plat though, putting up a significant amount of pressure with that brush. He falls back, regrouping with his teammates, but that Stingray comes out. Tempest does clear that first checkpoint, which is very significant in terms of the future of this game.
Bandit with the missile jet scorcher is definitely a surprise to be seen. Red Shell getting the trade on Sakura right here, although Sakura was about to actually form the water. I was actually gonna laugh myself because it was actually gonna be a little bit funny. Going for a dive on Academy. Bandit once again Tempest trying to once again restart their push, going for painting as much as they possibly can in front of the tower, but there was no opportunity for them to climb office. That's why you see two people on the left side, while Z is taking a very aggressive position on the left side on the tree or the statue.
Yeah, and they're getting their way towards that second checkpoint, but have to fall back because of that Booyah Bomb and the pressure that's being put on them. That Jet does have missiles ready to go, and we do see that the Stingray and missiles are ready to go on the side of Tuki. Definitely a situation that you don't want to find yourself on the other side of that Ray while you're trying to clear that second checkpoint. I might be mistaken, but it looks like Tuki might be starting a push in a 4v4 situation. They do get punished for that though, the Fire Fin, and 3 members going down, giving Tempest clear access to mid.
Indeed, it just seems that Tuki has just been struggling a lot trying to get control of mid. They do get the fix, they do stop the push. Oh, that was like the armor save on man, and then they ended up ending here. It's just a matter of like how they manage to do it after they cancel Tempest push. And Tuki is very good at... No, Tempest is just very good at keeping the push going.
Yeah, they are all the way at that third checkpoint, though. It looks like they're going to just stop just short of it. The Jet Sculpture falling back. Tuki now has access to mid, but they are 1 member down, 1 coming out of spawn. We do see a member of Tempest over there on step. Sakura chooses to ignore them, and there are 2 over on left tree. Getting a pick, 2 members are down on the side of Tempest, so it looks like they might be able to start a push here, especially with that 3rd member of Tempest all the way over on right tree, nowhere near objective.
Oh no, there was a wasted opportunity for set. Okay, we do get a redeem themselves situation with a great snipe from Z from the left side. Red Shell going for the flank from the right side of Stack. They're trying to protect the F-Frame Charger from doing anything they possibly can. Red Shell gets picked. The first checkpoint is broken on Tuki's side. It is a very great opportunity. Hoser is on their office, on the elbow, trying to get even more and more picks and keep people away from the tower. They have even more and more chance to get this to keep going and going. The Jet Scorcher going down, and also breaking the second checkpoint.
Yeah, there is a wipe as Tuki clears that second checkpoint, barreling their way towards that third. We do see Boopy over here trying to put pressure on the members of Tempest as they come out of spawn. They do take lead here. That's it. This is a very difficult part of the match to recover from. Once your opponents have cleared that third checkpoint, it's extremely difficult. 2 members are down on the side of Tempest. Make that 3. The Jet Sculpture is firing for relative safety, but Tuki is going in for that KO.
So I just want to say, yes, when I did say it was a bad opportunity, I didn't kind of jinx myself, but when I saw that with 2 people from Tempest 2 people from Tuki were on the right tree, you even called that out. I was like, Sakura will ride the tower, but there is no one in front of Sakura to protect them from getting picked from tower. So what happened was they quickly managed to take the opportunity that that Tuki wasn't, the enemy team wasn't positioning themselves on the left, and with the splash, with the special combo, they managed to push all on everything, and Red Shell going down was the beginning of their downfall, and then everything just fell like dominoes.
Yeah, I will point out that Sakura did have 13 KA, which was a top frag for the lobby. When your junior is top fragging, that's a support weapon played correctly, because that means that the 8 armors that she popped were used by her team to push. Very successful there. In addition, sometimes a team, it's not necessarily about you're going to make mistakes, right? It's an esport. Like, you're gonna slip up. You can't be 100% on your game 100% of the time. However, sometimes those mistakes go unpunished. What makes an L is a small mistake that normally you would be able to get away with that the other team sees as an advantage and decides to punish it. And that is exactly what Tempest did there when they got that double, and the third member was on treat. Choosing that opportunity to push did force a stagger once that third member finally went down, which was ultimately what enabled them to go clean sweep for that KO.
True. And like, here's the thing. I've been watching, for some reason, it's been popping up on my YouTube, a lot of Smash. I've been watching like a DK, which is like a very low tier character. The way they play is like very waiting for the enemy to do any mistakes, and I kind of understand everything that's happening. Like, that makes sense. That was he moves. And I think that's what you do in Splatoon. You have to find the opportunity to push once you see that the enemy team made a mistake, which it's more likely to happen during the match or at the beginning of the match with just one movement, or like just being spotted and then just have to abuse that.
Yeah, which is a much more difficult thing to do than forcing your own opportunities. Having the game sense to wait for mistakes to happen and know when to push them as quickly and as aggressively as possible is what makes a very skilled player. We do see Red Shell getting the pick on that Firefin in the opening 15 seconds of the game. Makes that 2 down on the side of Tuki. It looks like both teams are running very similar comps, except Tempest is switching out one of those zaps for a 52. Tempest is going in for some dunks. They do have a decent chunk of clams to keep that basket open, especially if they manage to get the picks there, because members of Tuki are holding clams.
That's true. 62 points is not that much of a big push, but the control of the match is still very debatable with a little bit more blue from Tempest. Sakura trying the best with just spamming bombs, knowing that you cannot engage and just go there and have fun. You just have to keep the pressure so they know you're there. Sakura saw the opportunity, saw that they got picked, and that explains why they're playing just defensive right now. As one of the people told it in chat, it's crack. That's actually someone's vote. And Tempest just going in for the second rush of points.
Yeah, Tempest getting wiped there, but they are able to clear their penalty and secure a greater margin of lead. We do see Sakura over here on the right side taking control of Street and enabling their team to be able to push up in that direction. Having control of both hills here is the key. If you have control of hills, you have control of the clams. And with 2 members down on the side of Tempest, it does look like Tuki is going in for a very strong dunk.
A little bit too late on that Booyah Bomb, trying to at least getting survive. It's a wipe on Tuki. Tempest is trying their best to get control back of mid, and just 52-53 is not necessarily a point where you want to be in Tempest. Bandit going for the risky push on Clambliss, going for the rush, jumping in a little bit too late. Maybe he will miss it, maybe they will miss it, maybe they'll get it. They miss it, unfortunately. 20 points going down the drain. It's just underneath the basket.
Yeah, that power clam is going to timeout right underneath Tuki's basket, but hey, you still have the lead here. 11 penalty points is not a lot. Boopy taking a clean sweep across that map as they use their missiles to try and call out where their enemies are. Getting a trade on that end zap. It is now a 2v2 situation with Bandit and Red Shell pushing that basket very aggressively. Unfortunately, Red Shell is going to get pinned, meaning that Bandit's the only one in play right now.
Nice being spotted over here from on Bandit. Like, Bandit was overextending a little bit, just getting in range of a shooter, but just falling back safely without getting picked. And the Stingray being played so well with the teammates. 52 gallon and aggression, gets a very good pick here on Henry, get us a little bit more clams. And it seems that it's just gonna be even further and further for a close lead for Tempest. This might go like we might even see a game 7. This is just going back and forth so well.
Yeah, Boopy gathering enough power clams to be able to get a power clam on right hill. 24 clams is nothing to sneeze at, as look how much yellow paint is all over the map. It looks like they have control of both left and right hill. But unfortunately for Boopy, 2 members of Tuki make that 3 are down. They have to fall back with that power clam. And Tempest very quickly here is taking control of both of those key points of the map. Omega has 9 clams, and there's many underneath the basket going in for a clean dunk. Clearing those penalty points once again, and while there's only 1 member up, they've done what they needed to do, and that's make the space that Tuki has to clear even bigger.
Jose trying to get a pick, gets one very good of the lucky RNG over there, but unfortunately having to pop the Booyah Bomb might be a little bit of a risky play. Puts the Ls 3 back. It's 36-21. It is possible to get the lead. Jose has 6. It's 18. That puts 18 points on the board, but it's so close it dies. It just needs 1 more, and it's so close with 45 seconds remaining. This match can still go both ways.
Man, so close yet so far away, right? The pressure is now on for both teams. Tempest, if they score a single power clam, they can increase their lead here, right? And that makes it more difficult for Tuki. Tuki has 27 penalty points. That's a lot to be able to clear. So, Tempest, their goal here is to score just 1 power clam versus Tuki needs to gather a whole push in 20 seconds.
Honestly, I don't think that's actually hard. You just need 4 clams, and they're going for the push. It is a risky push. It is a risky push. Here you go. Here you go. They throw the power. They just need 4. They just need 4. They just need 4. 1, 2, 3.
Let's go!
1 more to get the other guy.
Oh my gosh! Absolute serious clutch from Sakura there. My heart dropped.
3-1. Boopy getting with the risky. I cannot say the S word, but let's just say that's what at least the GM told me to do, is just say the clutch. The clutch pump risky play. That was very well done because it's just 1 power and 4 clams. You just throw the power, position yourself on snipe, and then throw 4 small clams. That's it. That's not no big deal.
Easier said than done, Fern. Easier said than done. Did you see that? They had to work for it.
I mean, they did work for it. Oh, I almost fell my chair.
Oh, don't fall, Fern. Don't fall. We need you here at IPL.
Don't worry. I'm not gonna break my chair like someone did on the IPL server. RIP the gaming chair. Although I'm just using a simple kitchen chair that was like this, like $30 or something. Yeah.
Rest in peace, the gaming chair. We will be moving forward to everyone's either favorite or least favorite map mode combination, a staple of competitive Splatoon, Rainmaker Black Belly.
Why is this map mode always in the finals? Like, it was always in the finals. Like, okay, but I have to say, I do prefer playing Rainmaker Black Belly than Rainmaker Starfish, because I would say the effectiveness of the Jet Scorcher is better, but also the play work, like the teamwork you have to do on Black Belly, is way more fun to deal with than in Rainmaker. Like on Rainmaker, I would say a lot of randomness and arbitrary events can lead to just like a win from A to B. I'm not this like it's just, I would say, just too short of a map. Like it's like Rainmaker on Splatoon 1. Like that thing, you could easily, it was the fastest mode map combination ever, because you would climb the wall, drop, and then just climb the hill. The totem, the end position, was legit what the box for the more points position is. That's it. It was bad at Splatoon 1.
Ooh, we do see a Stingray coming out on both sides, but Z with that sniper, a interesting choice for Rainmaker in general. Obviously, I know he ran it on Rainmaker Starfish earlier, and by the way, I personally prefer Starfish. We have 2 members going down on the side of Tempest. Joe putting a significant pressure up on grass, trying to access that flat area. Already beginning a push. Ooh, that was a very nice pick on the end zap. A little RNG bless right there. We have Sakura, Joe, and Boopy in position to give this Rainmaker a clean path, trying to get that Nuzzle Nose out of the picture, especially as it pops Baller and tries to barrel its way for the Rainmaker.
That was say it was a weird baller at the end. That's right. You managed to push your teammate, the enemy team away from you, but at the same after the explosion, what was your plan going to be like? And now with like a lot of trades happening, the Rainmaker Sakura getting a little bit to 37, which is a very solid push. It could be better. It can still go both ways, but it was a very good push from Tuki.
Yeah, solid. 37 is nothing to sneeze at, but Rainmaker Blackbelly is a very volatile map mode. I would not be surprised at all to see that 37 cleared relatively shortly within the game as Tempest begins their first push, having 3 specials online, getting that pop very cleanly. There are missiles being popped by Boopy on that right side. No doubt that Tempest sees this, and having 2 members down on the side of Tuki, Tempest is going to begin a very strong push here as Bandit or Omega wait for just the right time to pick up that Rainmaker. They do take a little bit of a moment though, which enables that Stingray to be popped on the side of Tuki.
Oh, it's a wipe on Tuki. They have the opportunity to get the lead. They have the opportunity to get the KO. It takes points.
Well, it's not over to that bomb, so one more point. Hey, it's 1 point, right? It's a Rainmaker Blackbelly. Every single point counts. Red Shell and Bandit are trying to do something about that Rainmaker, but they are going to get picked inevitably. It looks like that Rainmaker is about to reset right now.
Indubitably. And we are gonna go now for the challenge of getting mid, but Boopy right here finds Eric and Re trying to surf left side. Here comes the L3 going for the back. Very well teamwork player of that. But Eric wants to go back to the aggression, finds the charger, and goes for defensive again.
Yeah, 4v4, make that 4v3 in control of mid. We do see Red Shell getting picked by Joe, make that a 3v2. Tuki getting ready for that push, having gotten 2 down, and they have that Booyah and that Stingray ready to go. The Junior is in control of the Rainmaker, which means that Stingray will be able to help facilitate a push. Unfortunately, the 52 did go down. It looks like they traded with the Splash, and the Ray, oh man, the Charger's down as well. Sakura's the only one up. Oh, and gets picked by the Ray.
That's unfortunate. Tempest has very much control of center of the map. Just the Charger has the opportunity to get the pick, unless Red Shell gets a little bit too aggressive with the L3. Trying to, oh, that's a sneaky jump. I thought it was gonna go that wall, but right now I don't know what Red Shell will do. Goes for the fallback, trying to get defensively, and the Bandit unfortunately gets picked by the Ray.
None of us know what Red Shell will do. Do we ever? We do see that Tuki, it looks like they're trying to deal with this Rainmaker on that side. They do pick it up. Omega is in position to defend, and it looks like one of their teammates does get that pick on the Rainmaker. Ooh, Z, I saw that. That would have been very clean had they gotten that hit. The missiles coming out on that right side is going to enable something here if they can get in position with that Rainmaker. Sakura coming up, they're probably going to grab it before it resets because they do have that Stingray and Booyah Bomb ready to go. Unfortunately, 2 members go down very quickly on both sides. We have 1 on each side of mid right now.
This is a match that can still go both ways with 45 seconds remaining, and Tuki having the control of mid. They do have 2 specials. If they manage to survive the Stingray, they might have the opportunity they needed. They just do not need, cannot get picked. They get 2. It's a 4v2 situation. Rushing is just a Neo Splash. It's just a Neo Splash. It was rushing the Rainmaker, and it was just now the opportunity. Z has to pick up the Rainmaker, and he has to. They have to swim as fast as possible. They can. The curling ball managed to almost push the Rainmaker away from the objective. If they're so close yet so far, all people respawn.
Yeah, there's no one in front of the Rainmaker. Oh my gosh, Sakura getting the pick on that Nozzle Nose, working up that Ray is going to come out. No, swim. Oh my gosh, with 3 seconds left, they're not going to have time to pop and grab, and that is game for Tempest. Oh my. Oh my.
Close. Well, they're gonna go for game 6. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. We are moving on to Splat Zones. Piranha Pit. It is 2 and 3. We might be seeing a game 7 tonight, Fern.
True, I actually want to see game 7 because I actually prefer
Me
Tower
too.
Control than Zones, but that's just personal preference. And I will. But I would say that was so close because this, like, okay, that is the bad, like the Black Belly Rainmaker ended with the bad thing about Black Belly, which is just Jet's culture. They use Ray at the beginning of the push. Sakura managed to survive, and then it's finished with the Ray from the second Ray the Jet's culture can provide. I I think it was just a solid push in general. Even though they lost at the end, it was just the unluckiness of being picked by the Ray.
Yeah, that push with that curling bomb coming towards the Rainmaker, and the Rainmaker fired on top right, where opponents were coming out of spawn. I was like, oh man, please don't die that curling bomb, please! And they stayed alive, but just long enough for that Ray to come online and say GG. I definitely felt that. Very happy for Tempest, though, taking that W and bringing us forward into the next match, because that was match point, and this still is match point for Tuki. If Tuki takes this W, they do get to call themselves SOS 48 Grand Champions, but Tempest wants to call themselves the same, especially with this Ludi season coming up, and there's a lot on the line here.
Wait, did Tempest win both Rainmaker matches?
I think so. Yeah,
Oh.
actually they did. That's interesting, Fern.
That's actually, well, technically speaking, okay, they got 2 wins, but they need to win on a mode that is not Rainmaker, so will they have the opportunity to do so?
Well, we shall see, given that it is currently Splat Zone's Piranha Pit. We have Joe over here trying to take control of left fan. There's another 52 there, ready to try and stop him. Pushing up with the rest of the team, though. 1 member down on each side. Zones are currently leaning in favor of Tuki, but that might be temporary. Red Shell coming in and getting that pick on Joe. Once again, 3v3 on each side. Tempest is the first to cap the zone, but will they hold it?
I honestly think they have the control to hold it at least for about the north bounce with the Jet Scorcher does going down. Tempest has to find an opportunity to avoid all those missiles, but unfortunately Henry will die to their teammates' own missiles, and Tuki will have control of at least one of the zones fully, while we have Pose on the left conveyor belt applying the pressure they needed to just extend their lead even further with a nice pick on the Jet Scorcher from Z.
Yeah, maintaining control of both zones with 2 coming out of spawn. We do have Jove throwing a very clean Booyah Bomb, getting the pick on that hammer. Omega trying to use that sponge to get into a little bit of a more advantageous position, but is going to be blocked by Joe. Henry popping that Booyah Bomb, trying to force their way in. That Booyah Bomb, there's no one to paint for it. It's just temporarily going to neutralize the zone, especially with 1 member down on each side. Tuki does once again cap, continuing increasing their lead.
Just 2 people left alive with the Jet Scorcher just respawning. This doesn't look good for Tempest in any way, shape, or form, but it's still 10 points remaining. We got the 52 going down. The zone gets, one of the zones get neutralized. Sakura trying to get the paint as much as they possibly can. There is a wall being thrown, trying to paint as much even more, and it's just gonna be not enough to apply the penalty. They're trying to catch the second one, but Junior goes down. It's a 2v3 situation. They managed to apply the penalty with 69 points on 2.
Sorry, Fern, I didn't mean to cut you off. Nice. Yeah, they do manage to finally apply penalty points. Excellent on the side of Tempest. They have cleared those penalty points as well, which means that they are still in this fight, having taken control of Tuki's fan here. That's going to slow down their egress towards zone. Red Shell is currently down. We do see Omega painting to try and maintain that cap. 2 members are down in total on the side of Tempest. Make that 1 on the side of Tuki. So the zone is going to stall in neutral for a little bit. They have done their job. They applied those penalty points. They prevented that KO. They are still in this fight for grand finals.
53 points and still counting. 3v4 situation. The zones on the enemy side is the one that is being the most to keep on. Bobby trying to get the pick on the left side. The Enzap is being very aggressive. The brush comes in for the fight. It is a very pincer situation happening. Tuki does go down once again, but it's a 2v4 situation at the same time. Will be the Tempest be able to keep the zone? They managed to cap and just apply 36 points. Tuki now has the lead, the both zones control, and is going for the W.
Yeah, Tuki, with a minute and a half left, just maintaining control of the zones, or even having it in neutral is good for them right now. We do have Bandit popping missiles on, it looks like every single member that was currently in the game, forcing them away from that zone. Boopy and Sakura moving around towards right fan, trying to back up their K-Gal friend here to maintain that control. A Booyah Bomb coming out, being chucked at left zone. It's not really going to do much. Boopy's just there painting, doing what K-52s and Jet Squelchers do, popping specials. Tuki does have a member down though. It looks like Tempest is going to be able to cap. They do. They have a minute to hold on to this with 2 members down though. They're going to have their work cut out for them.
2v.
Oh
it's
my!
Just 1v2. What's going on? It's a 1v1. It's just a Bandit trying to defend both zones. But here comes Sakura trying to pay from the left side. Brush coming for the red shell, and the Jet Squatcher are watching the Junior. They're not gonna let the zone be capped. 40 points on the penalty, 49. That is just a little bit too much. It's 2 people going down, just a red shell going. Control the zone goes back to Tuki. This doesn't seem very clutch for Tempest. They do need to find a miracle in order to win. On a 2v1 situation, it doesn't look good at all for Tempest. Tuki is going to win.
Yeah, they very well might with 17 seconds left in the match. It looks like Tempest is in a position to push zone, but they do have 2 members down with 10 seconds left. That is almost impossible. They have to get the picks that they need and the paint that they need. Oh my, it is 1v2 for that zone. The K-52 finally going down, and that is GG's. Tuki taking the match as well as grand finals in SOS 48.
I do believe Tuki had the opportunity to win this SOS from the beginning. Even if, like, maybe with a different comp, honestly, like, let's just say for Blasters for sure. But congratulations to Tuki, very well deserved. Also a shout out for the 3rd place. Rissa's Experiment beat Operation Paradox on a very close set of 3-2. Oof.
Yeah, what a set. I'm definitely gonna remember those quick KOs on Starfish and Splat Zones. That Splat Zones match was extremely clean from Tuki, and Rainmaker Black Belly, that opening push from Tempest was positively phenomenal. That Splat Zones match, everything was on the line for both teams. Tuki just went harder and took that W, and congratulations to them. Also, congratulations to the Tempest for 2nd place and Rissa's Experiments for 3rd. Very wonderful night here with all of you and all of IPL.
Yes, we are gonna be closing in, but not before. We also have to remember you wonderful people that launch day is gonna be happening this weekend, and also just after we finish it off, we're gonna do a little bit of a raid on Rafa, the Luna Blaster player, and so we are gonna be calling off. I have been Super Fern, and I've been joined by my wonderful partner, Team Rocket member in crime.
That's right. It was wonderful commentating with you tonight, Fern. My name is Skepidalians. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch as seen on screen. What about you, Fern?
They can also find me on Twitch, on Scream, no, at least just Twitter is fine, on screen as well. I had a wonderful night. Well, it's already Thursday for me. It's not Wednesday. It's not Wednesday, my dudes, anymore for me, unfortunately. And and yeah, that's has been the end for me too. Thank you so much for having me, Skeppy.
Yeah, stay fresh.